All right. Happy Friday, guys. Hang on one second while I get the chat up here so I can see it. Hope y'all are having a good weekend so far. Bear with me one second. Housekeeping. We got a couple guests, hopefully, that will drop in tonight and talk to you guys about some stuff that you care about. Get your drinks ready. This is an informal Friday night hangout, talking about stocks, doing your Q&A. Almost got the chat up. Can you guys hear me okay? Whew, hang on. All right, I got the smokes. I need to pour the drink. Because we're not working anymore. Don't drink and drive, guys. Drink in the comfort of your own home. It's Friday night. You're a grown up. You can fucking do what you want. Cheers. Fuck the hedgies. Just a little sippy sip. Physiologist 72, good evening. You are welcome. Glad I was able to help you out with that Twitter DM. Kim, good evening. Blazing, Proud Ma, Punchy Nuts, Broke Ape, Tondi, Wendy, Meagle, Arbaglio, Salmon, Forever an Ape, PNW, Texan, KYP, Yuka, Michael, Broke Ape again. All right, so tonight we're going to kind of skip around in what we talk about, but topics planned for tonight, obviously AMC and Avatar. I'm going to have Steven on to talk about that. His channel is Just Another Ape. I'm expecting Frank Benedetto to stop in and give us a quick 5-minute update on Cosmos. We're going to talk about MMTLP and that FINRA notice. I just sent a tweet out and a post on the community page. Maybe we'll talk about Highcroft. Some people still think I'm bearish on Highcroft. I don't know what the fuck. What the fuck they're smoking. But maybe we can clear the air on that once and for all. I don't know how many fucking times we need to talk about me owning Highcroft and calls on Highcroft to get through the fog. I just like DD, guys. I like to give you the factual timeline of what is going to happen. What else are we going to talk about tonight? Cosmos, MMTLP, AMC, Highcroft. We're going to talk about Avatar. And we'll see who else drops in. So let's fucking go. Let's pull up the FINRA notice. This is not going to be nothing about MMTLP. If you're still holding it, nothing's pleasant about it. It fucking sucks. I get it. I was not holding it, but I've been talking about it for 2 months. And this is not going to be a I told you so lap. But my general guidance was if I was holding MMTLP, I've been very consistent saying that you got to book the profits before they announce the date. And I know there's 100 other channels to my one saying the exact opposite, and that's cool. Maybe they would have been right. But knowing that a company is going to go private and having talked to trade desks and short sellers, I could not ever find one shred of DD to back up what they were saying, that 200 million shorts must cover before this thing goes private. So it is what it is. Maybe, for some people, this is evidence of crime and you'll be upset about it for years. Maybe it was crime. But at the end of the day, I hope for everybody, whether you were in the trade or not, whether you made money or lost money, that it is a learning experience to always be taking fucking profits, and be careful about the due diligence that you get on YouTube. including me. Always fact check me. I have no problem with that. And if I'm wrong, then just tell me I'm wrong, and we'll have a conversation. Here is the notice from FINRA on 12/6, and this might be hard to read. Let me see. Anyways, it says right here in the 12/6 notice that this MMTLP will not be quoted X dividend, will not be quoted X. I get it. It says right before that. This is why it was confusing for everybody. Like I don't proclaim to be an expert in reading FINRA notifications, right? The sentence before that says purchases executed after 12/8 will not receive the distribution. If you want to read that as, it doesn't say you'll be able to purchase it after 12/8, right? Let's say that again. It does not say you will be able to purchase it after 12/8. It says that purchases after 12/8 will not be eligible. And then it says will not be quoted X dividend. That means that after the 9th, it won't be quoted. Looks like I'm having some streaming connection issues. Hopefully we don't get bumped off here. Anyways, I think the clues were here. If people were uncertain, the smart thing to do would be err on the side of caution. Always take the worst possible scenario. I'm not going to get into the debate if it was crime or whatever. I see what they said here, that it won't be traded on the 6th. They said you can't quote it after the night, after the end of business on the 8th. Can FINRA do the same with AMC and APE as they did to MMTLP? MMTLP was a very unique and uncommon situation in that it was a OTC share that was being converted to a ticker that was a different company that would not be publicly traded. Very rare, very uncommon, and also why I was very cautious about taking the advice of anybody who proclaimed to be an expert on what was going to happen. And if y'all want to sue them, I say more power to you. Go do what you need to do. Hopefully you win. I will be tracking it. And I always want retail to win. But more importantly, I want you to take profits when you got them in the bag. Even if it's just taking half off, locking in something. You want to let some ride for the dream, fucking do it. But don't, you can't be buying in at the top on stuff or letting 100% ride when it's so uncertain. Salmon says only third time a U3 halt has happened in this market. Yeah, it is I think that this situation of what was going on with MMTLP in general is very rare. I don't certainly know, or even worse, remember everything that's happened in the last 30 years. But this type of spinoff was very uncommon. Hector says, apparently you're wrong, FINRA getting sued. Hey, sue them. I haven't made any statement about if someone was being sued. Fucking sue them. Do it. Keep us posted. And I wish you luck. I hope you win. It fucking sucks, but you should be suing the YouTubers who, well, no, I'm not going to go there. Not going to go there. Steven, what's up? Just another ape. Someone got mad at me for posting this and highlighting the will not be quoted on Twitter. I'm going to unfollow you, Tony Denaro. How dare you point out that it said it won't be quoted on the 6th? I'm not here for followers, guys. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to fucking hold your hand. I'm here to share due diligence with you. If it differs than what you want to hear, don't fucking listen. Go to the clickbait channels. I could give two shits who follows me on Twitter or who subs to me on YouTube. The people that I would like to build an audience for is the people who want a rational voice to help you sort through the chaff, sort through the clickbait, and analyze what companies are telling you and what regulating agencies are telling you. It's not always going to be popular. I get it. I've never been popular. Sufyan says, let me go on live with Super Steven. Hey, Sufyan, do you want me to open up chat in the Discord so you can come on? What I can tell you is that people in my Discord who listen to my channel on a regular basis sold this bitch and made money weeks ago. Some of them are in the chat right now. Could I give an example of a clickbait channel? Anyone covering MMTLP? All right, let's move on. Steven, do you want to come on and talk about Avatar? This is a punch cigar. While I'm waiting for Steven or Frank to come on. Also, guys, I think tonight we're going to have another special guest who has not been, I don't know if he's been on my live stream. The Marine. You guys might have heard of him. He's been in the play for a long time. Sufyan, Steven has the link to get on video, so he needs to come on video. I'll turn on Discord so you can come on voice. Hang on one second. Steven, why don't you click the link and come in live if you want to. Talk about Avatar and why we are fucking bullish on Avatar. All right, I turned on the voice chat in the Discord for Sufyan. Just join in there, live stream voice. Let's talk about Highcroft for 1 second while everybody is putting ice cubes in their drinks. And Steven is joining in. Sufyan, the Marine, Frank Benedetto. Guys, Sufyan, what's up, amigo? Good. Hey, Sufyan, you're in my Discord. What's my general opinion as far as you know it on Highcroft mining? Just give it to me in your own words so I don't have to say it. I want you to tell the folks what I talked to you guys about Highcroft mining. Does that mean that I've ever said don't buy it until a long time from now? Because that's the rumor going around. Hang on 1 second. Can you guys not hear him? let me try and stop this screen share and then add it back in with sharing system audio. All right, Sufyan, try one more time. Try now. Can y'all hear Sufyan? One testing, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me?
Can y'all hear Sufyan now?
Hello?
Frank, I see you in the waiting room.
Yeah,
Steven,
can you guys hear me? 1, 2, 3.
Okay, they can hear you. They can hear you now. They can hear you now.
Yeah. Let's talk about Highcroft. So, as far as I'm concerned, you've had the same opinion since day one on Highcroft mining, meaning that you had a long-term vision into Highcroft, meaning that like it's a long-term play, right? It's not if they prove themselves with their revenue generations, then substantial revenue, then yeah, I mean long term, not it's not anything that you think it's gonna be a short-term investment.
I just want someone else to say it besides me, because these goofballs on other channels are trying to say that I'm telling people don't buy Highcroft.
Yeah, and if I can add something, Tony, me and you particularly done a lot of DD on analyzing the piece of Highcroft in AMC's balance sheet, and I don't know if you want to expand on that, but
no,
like
we'll do that on another video.
Yeah, we did a lot of DD on Highcroft mining in the balance sheet, and yeah, I mean, by doing this DD and analyzing the financial statements and what are they doing, we come with a conclusion. It's basically from data. It's not from any rumors or anything like that. It's actually from facts and data and numbers. We base our investment strategy, not financial advice, right? Just it's a long term,
all right,
short term, pump and dump.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but just to be clear, I own Highcroft. I own 25 calls. I'm probably going to be adding some more of both as we approach 50 cents. Please, guys, don't listen to these fucking liars who don't understand that a long-term investment means buy it cheap and hold it until the company gets to the point in their development plan when they generate profits. Long-term investment does not mean wait for long-term to buy it. That's fucking idiotic. All right, Frank Benedetto, I'm going to bring you on next because you are in New York and I know it's late. Cosmos Holdings, Frank, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Tell us what's new with Cosmos, Frank. There was an update today.
I'm still assembling. But making sure a system.
Your audio is really bad, Frank.
Is that any better?
Let me try turning off this screen share and see if that helps. Try again, Frank.
Is that any better?
Go ahead.
Okay. As I was saying, we're trying to combat this system-wide issue of overloan shares and extra shares being out there. So, I made the suggestion we use Share Intel. Share Intel is the only share tracking service that is their data is admissible in the court of law. They're those experts on it. Now, we're not accusing anybody at this point. We just want to know where the shares are, who's got them, who's trading them, why 65% of our trades going off the dark pool instead of on exchange. And we want full transparency for our shareholders. This should provide a level of protection that one thing about share and tell, what they do is when they discover deficiency, meaning the wirehouses have more shares on record than they have in their possession. We go to them and say, hey, actually, share and tell goes to them, not us, and says, hey, there's an imbalance here. You need to clean it up. And if you keep getting caught with it, obviously, we'll have to take the next step, which is doing something about it. But most of the time, they don't want to get caught in the cookie jar, so they'll clean it up. This is the first step, but it's the most significant so far, is this is going to be the new standard, or at least it should be. It costs $60,000 a year because it's expensive, but this is the cost of doing business in today's landscape. And if companies aren't willing to be part of the solution, to me, they're part of the problem. Everybody knows it's happening. Everybody's ignoring it. Even Gensler is talking about bringing all the trading back on exchange and eliminating the dark pools. That would be a huge step to bringing transparency back to the markets, because the overwhelming sentiment is people don't trust the markets today. They don't feel that they're getting a fair shake. They don't feel that their buys are being properly represented. And when you deal with the capital markets, people talk about hedge funds. They talk about dark pools. There's no entity in the world that has more money than the general public, the retail investor. You all have the power. Problem is, the hedge funds are organized. They work together. They time their acts. They have discipline. Retail investors, unfortunately, we're all over the place. COSM, MMT, MMAT, GTL. Every shiny object that flies by, we're trying to grab it. And just remember what happened to the bass when he saw the shiny object swim by. He got caught and he got killed. So, do your due diligence. Learn about the company you own. I'm not going to speak on any other company that's been a runner or not. I don't know much about them. I know if I look past the short squeeze mania, which seems to be the calling card today, you look past the short squeeze mania, could it happen? Sure. We have a significant short position. Is it 2,000%? Absolutely not. But if you look under the hood instead of just at the shiny car, you'll see there are revenues, there's growth, there's a great executive team, there's a CEO that's buying shares up to right or acquiring them as well. He's done both in the last 2 months. So that's the thing. If you know what you own, the dips don't scare you. When I got 1,000 mechanisms today of fear.
Let me ask you a question, and I know you already know this, Frank, but just to be clear to anybody watching, I don't make buy, sell, or hold decisions or recommendations on Cosmos. What I want to do is just bring you guys people that are in the know, and Frank is their investment relations representative. So I'm trying to provide you another voice for information. That is all this is. Frank knows what's going on. Frank, I just have one other question for you. Has that company, what is it, Shareholder Services? Have they given you a timeline of how long does this investigation take?
Already started it. It's almost real time. That's the reason why I was quiet. Once you announce share and tell, they pucker up a little bit. They say, oh, they're watching us now. You walk up to somewhere, if there's a security camera there, most likely you're not going to try to break it. Now, the security camera's on, but it's been on, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't telegraph the punch so we could see the real trading activity before they tried to clean up their act.
Okay. So a follow-up question, is there a backward-looking part of that, or is it just forward-looking from the day you announce it or the day you hire them?
We're going back 2 years.
Okay. Well, I certainly hope that this is successful for you guys and for Created. I know that they're doing the same thing, and many of us are going to be watching the results of that for other companies that we care about. I don't think I need to name any tickers, but I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. I wish you guys very much success.
Any companies that you're involved with, if you have any contact with management, this should be the standard mode of operation. They need protection. They need to know you're watching. If the company's not willing to do that, maybe you should reconsider going somewhere else, because this is the new landscape, and you have to adapt.
Yep. Any other final
Hey,
thoughts for the folks? I don't want to keep you too late.
can I ask Frank a question?
Yep.
Hey, Frank, this is the Marine. I've seen you on Twitter a few times. And I'm going to be talking with Share Intel myself. I've been talking with Naked Truth guys, and I'm going to be reaching out and setting up a call with Wes Christensen next week because I want to get some more information on it. And I see that you guys are doing it. Well, I'm tired, man. I went off today. Sorry. My brain just drew a fart. I was so freaking worked up today, but the
First
question.
of all, if you go to my Twitter, I posted a video tonight. I posted a video of an interview between David Wenger from Share Intel and Wes Christian. So you can see a full 30-minute conversation about how it works if you really want to get some good information. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, actually the question I was going to ask you is the company itself, meaning the board, has to hire Share Intel, correct?
Everything at Cosmos is a board decision. They do not act alone. Their board is extremely distinguished. So everything goes to a board decision. We even have battles about the wording in the press release because they don't ever want to be antagonistic and mention short selling or making sure that they wouldn't do it. So yeah, I mean it's a board decision. It's expensive, and you have to give them a lot of permissions that I can't discuss about to look at things. It's like giving somebody the blueprints to your design. So
yeah, there's NDAs that are signed. I get that. That's awesome, Frank, and I'm glad to see that you guys are stepping up and wanting to do something to fight back against these corrupt market we're all living in.
This is the first step.
Thank you for answering that.
Yeah. So if you want to reach me privately, I'll discuss it with you. This is only the first step. There's other things that need to happen to ensure to thoroughly keep an eye on things and protect the shareholders. But this is a good start.
Frank, I know your investors were very upset about you going dark for the past couple of days, but I just want to extend on behalf of all of them. I think now that you and Greg were able to disclose some of the why, a thank you in person.
Oh no, listen, I love communicating with shareholders, even when they're mad at me. I know that when they say things that I don't think they mean at the moment, they're either scared or upset, and I get it. That's why I'm here. I believe every company should have somebody out there that's basically a bullet sponge.
Yep. Let's hope that other CEOs that are going dark have a hidden why too. That's, we're crossing our fingers.
Hey, Frank, you just said bullet sponge.
That's me.
Yeah, I know. And that's me, but that also is a term. Where'd you hear that term from? Where'd you pick that up at?
I actually just came up with it in my head, to be quite honest. I'd never used it before.
Is that a Marine term?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just go over and be a sponge. And Marines, we don't die. We one shot, one kill. You die, not me. But that is kind of a term they say. So it was just funny to hear that. I haven't heard that very often. Very few people use that term.
This position isn't fun. You need a certain, how do we say, character to deal with it, that you can just brush off the negative comments. I'm old school. I'm 51 years old. I've been in the retail world since 1997. When we still chipped the orders into stone tablets and ran them across the street. People deserve to have somebody to talk to, good or bad. If they're upset, they should have somebody to voice their frustration to. So I'm here. I can take it. You send me a message, I answer everybody. I mean, I woke up this morning, I had 76 messages at 4 a.m. So it just comes to the landscape, hold the punches.
All right, Frank, I'm going to let you go because the audio is a little choppier than when we had John last Sunday, but I do appreciate you stopping in. Enjoy your weekend, and best of luck to all Cosmos holders next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Know to reach. Have a good night.
Okay, take care.
See ya.
Thanks, Frank.
So recap on what Frank said, and you guys might want to reposition yourselves so you're center screen, Stephen and Marine. Frank, I know his audio is choppy. Sorry, guys. He's probably calling from a cell phone. They hired, I tweeted it out. I put it on the community tab. They hired, Marine, what's the name of that company?
So that's Share Intel.
Share Intel. They hired Share Intel, which is also the company that Wes Christensen uses to basically sniff through the trading data to look for naked shorts and all sorts of manipulation of stocks. I have not done, to be honest, I've done 5 minutes of DD on that company a year ago. So I'm not going to proclaim to be anywhere near the expert of it, but I know that Wes Christensen uses it, and Frank tells me that that their data is admissible in court based on previous precedent. So whatever happens with Cosmos, whatever happens with Created, they're both hired that firm. A year ago, we talked about AMC potentially hiring them. I'm going to be following this for both of those companies with close interest to see what happens, if there's any reduction in the manipulation, or if they find anything. He said they're doing a 2-year look back. Do you have anything you want to add, Maureen, on that topic?
I do. Like I said, I've taken quite an interest in Share Intel. When that first came out, if you guys recall, we shut it down pretty hard with the whole Chad fiasco on Twitter. And I was a part of that gatekeeping back then, thinking it was a bad idea. But I actually talked to Wes Christensen back then over the phone for a good 30 to 40 minutes about it. He wanted me to join the board of the Naked Truth. The Naked Truth was going to be the organization designed to hire Wes Christensen with the GoFundMe money. But unfortunately, that stuff got beat up. It kind of went south with the community, and they kind of just went silent to a degree. Then he started talking about Share Intel, which is kind of like his partnership. And I say partnership because of Dave. If you guys watch the video, they kind of explain, they went back and forth of how it works. And I remember I made a rebuttal video about it back because I didn't quite understand it. And I was kind of one of them gatekeeper style people at the time. But the idea behind it, and I recall, is actually pretty good in my opinion. So I'm going to, and I'm working real hard. I've been talking to Heather over at Naked Truth and Paul. Like I said, Wes Christensen emailed me back today, told me to call his assistant and set up an appointment next week for him and I to chat. And this is my goal. My goal is to get him on. I know they talked about doing a space call with him and Dave from Share Intel. I'm going to try to get him on my channel too, if I can. And I want to be able to introduce him to the community and just hear him out. Like, let's hear out what they've got, what it really is about. What can they do with it? Because the way I understand it, Wes Christensen has been doing this 25 some odd years and, has obviously been pretty successful at something like this. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Just keep your ears open, guys. And, don't shoot it down until we figure out what is it. There's nothing wrong with taking a stand. That's how I feel.
At this point, like almost 2 years into the game, what do we have to lose? Like, why not do some parallel path activities, right?
Yeah. And I think you're right. GTI, one of the guys, Jay, just said GTII hired him first. I think GTII was the one that hired him first. Cosman's hired him second.
I think Created hired them too, didn't they? Created.
I haven't heard. I haven't officially heard if Created did yet. Now, Created, I like Created, the CEO. If you guys, I uploaded that video. I went on Twitter and he had posted where he talked about what they're doing with the CEO block, which sounds fantastic. I also posted a video on how we all can sign up for that as they get it started. And their goal is to get 100 CEOs together. So they can start pushing. And basically, the way I understand it so far, and I've been trying to get a hold of the CEO of CRTD because I'd like to talk to him. But what it sounded like is if they get the CEO block together and they get all these CEOs, that they're going to put pressure on Congress, put pressure on SEC, and utilize these folks that got even a bigger footprint than, say, I do or we do in this community. And so it sounded really good. Now, we know how things are. People can make things sound good, but I think it's worth looking into. So
I want to address Floyd's comment here. Put him in court. You won't see a dime for 20 years, guys. Look, first of all, I want to address even the more FUD argument. There were people saying if you protest, the stock will be delisted. If you sue, the stock will be delisted. That is all straight up bullshit. And how long would a court case last? That's probably been my strongest pushback is I don't want to be waiting 5 years for a court case. But sometimes just the fact that someone's watching can change bad guys' behavior. I don't know if it will or not. But these other companies that are doing it, I'm going to be following them and see if they have any success with it. And maybe we start up the conversation in this community. I don't have a vested interest in yes or no at this point. This is a dialogue tonight. It's an open mic. It's to bring ideas to the table. What else do we got to fucking do while we're waiting on the fundamentals to improve, other than talk about logical things that make sense?
So Tony, to add to that, here's the other side of it. I get it, this whole tied up in court stuff. So you guys need to think about this. The SEC takes forever. When you get the SEC involved and they start investigating, first and foremost, they're always late to the show. It's the government. So by the time they even get there and start even focusing on it, it's 4, 5, 6, 8 years later before potentially anything does happen. That's
at
where
the soonest. At the soonest.
It's like me trying to get a VA appointment today. They wanted to put me out 4 months. And luckily I talked sweet and the lady actually heard me out. She's getting me in 2 weeks now, but I had to work for it, right? I had to put for it. The law on a lawsuit side, this is what upset me back then. When I talked to Wes to understand how share intel works, you first initially put Wes on retainer. You get share intel and you hire share intel. Share intel now does a deep dive investigation into the trades and data. They have a proprietary data system, and they look for algorithm, like the way the trades are going, who's trading what, who's holding what, those kind of things. And they look for common things in there that is criminal. And then if they find anything, and he said that can take up to 6 months for them to do. Okay, that's originally what he told me, and they investigate. He says, Mike, this is not a lawsuit. You literally are hiring us to start the process. This is called an investigation, a deep dive. And then based on the information we find, we decide if it's even worth taking to court. So then they got to figure out, okay, do we have enough information here? Then they're going to share that with the company. Here's what we have going on. And then from there is when they can decide, the company can decide, now we have this evidence. Here's what we have. Wes is on basically, because he doesn't get paid for the share intel. He has nothing to do with that. That's kind of like the partnership side where the guy does all the work and then Wes does the fighting. And so that's kind of how it works, guys. And here's the thing. A lot of times that stuff, when you look at private lawyer stuff, public stuff that doesn't have anything to do with the government, it can tend to go a little bit faster. It's not as slow as you think it is. And that's why a lot of these hedge funds sue the SEC, because they can push it out and push it out and push it out and push it out, because they know how slow the government's going to be. So we're going to find out more. Listen, I want to bring it to the community, just like Tony said. I want to see what it looks like. I want to hear what they have to say and see if it's worth it or not. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on, just like Tony said, on these other companies as well as they hire them. I'm going to be very active in it.
Yeah, I just want to be clear at this point. I'm just, information gathering. I'm not pushing a narrative of anything, but I mean, we're this far into it and nobody's gotten the result they wanted. We're waiting on fundamentals improvement. We can still talk about other stuff like grown-ups.
Yep. And
speaking of talking like grown-ups, Maureen, the reason I invited you to come on tonight, I saw your video. I was not in the space call that you were in, but it seemed to me by listening to your video, you got your voice in this community muted by some bad actors. And I wanted to give you 5 minutes to tell your story. I don't want to spend 2 hours talking about this, but this is your moment to get your message out, whatever's on your mind.
Yeah. So if you do follow people on Twitter, there's a group. You technically on Twitter, you have the right. I call it the right and the left. There's some people that people say are shills and they're bad people. And they invited me because I started speaking out somewhat against Adam Aaron about, I believe Adam can do more at this point for us. Adam can stand up beside us. I got a video on that. I don't want to waste your time. Go watch my video. So they reached out to me and they wanted me to be a part of their space call. So I went into that space call. When I got into that space call, I sat and waited my time and I listened to them talk. They had, if you guys know Amy, that trader that's in there, she's been called the shill or the short of the community. She does a lot of antagonizing. She goes into all of our space calls. She was in there with several other people in there. And when I waited for my turn to talk, I immediately made them right off the bat understand that I'm not in here to bash AMC. I still believe in the play. I believe in what we have and the opportunity in it. I said, the reason I'm here is because I was going to talk about Adam Aaron. And I happened to mention about Amy. And as soon as I did that, I could tell the room had changed towards me because that call, those folks put together these space calls. And guys, you got to understand how manipulation works. And I listened to them, and I listened to that girl Amy talk, and I listened to the other girl PJ, and then someone else talk. They try to manipulate your mind. They want to warp what they're saying because you're already emotional. You're already upset. You're frustrated. You've probably been in the red for as long as I have, if not longer. Some of you are stuck way up there. And all they did was talk about, you know, people are getting out, people are leaving. And I want to do the opposite. I want to be there for you. I want you to understand that I get it, man, because I'm the same way. And so when I tried to make that point valid across to them, the moment I brought up about what I'm pushing for is a mass awareness day in January, it completely changed the room. And one of them spoke up and shut me down, tried to shut me down. And then once they shut me down, the co-host decided to start talking about how there's going to be bad actors and provocateurs. They're going to stir up problems and blah, blah, blah. And that's when I lost my shit. And the reason why I lost my shit on that, or sorry for cussing, but the reason why I lost it on that, guys, you got to understand, as a Marine, I fought. And when I say fought, I gave up 4 years of my life and signed a blank check that I was willing to die for this country. And when I hear people sit there and try to make up these stories and tell other people that, oh, no, you can't go out and use your First Amendment rights because there's going to be some bad actor, I can't do it. The gatekeeping is one thing, but to tell me that we don't have that right and you don't have that right, I mean, that's just ridiculous. You're basically taking away your fundamental rights given to you by people that died for you. Literally millions of people over the years throughout history in the United States, ever since we got our freedom, have died, suffered. I have body injuries. I've got mental stuff that I suffer with, guys, 43 years old, that I suffer with, that I gave up 4 years of my life. So don't tell me that you are going to give up your rights that somebody fought for. And
when
so
you say they shut you down, did they mute you, or they just started like trying to overtalk you? Tell us
basically,
what happened.
yeah. I mean, yes, basically, yep. They just said, okay, you know, we already gave you the floor. And then one of the guys, you know, they start teaming up on you. One of the guys says, you've already had 30 minutes. And I was like, at that time I was getting lit because that guy set me off. And I'm like, no, why don't you guys check the clock? I ain't even been in here talking for 10 minutes, if that. I know these things. I keep track of time. Hello, you know, and so I could tell the whole attitude changed. They brought me in there. Let me put it this way, Tony, and I'll stop. They brought me in there because they saw somebody that has shown nothing but integrity for this movement and has been a voice for all the voiceless people. And I have fought endlessly, not for money. I haven't been paid. I started 4.5 months ago. I went ahead and turned on my YouTube to make a little bit of money or whatever. I just wanted to prove a point on that. But I have been volunteering my life because I believe in this community. I believe in this movement, and I believe in what we can do to change the market. And so I know when they brought me in there, they were thinking they're going to bring a face in there, a familiar face that has integrity in the community, and that I would come in there and start bashing like they were doing. And that's not my goal. I'm not trying to bash Adam Aaron in that sense. I think he's doing a good job as a CEO. But I also think at this point, I see the upset people and the frustration that's rising. And I'm a salesperson. And when you look at customer service, I did a video on that. If you got people that are upset and you're not addressing it, it's going to fester. And when it festers, it's going to explode. And the last thing we need is our fellow investors that are frustrated, that are in the red, to explode. I don't want to see that happen. So,
Well, I've been watching all your videos about the protest. I've got some ideas on that. Massalorian and I have been talking about your ideas for well over a month. I know I haven't talked to you directly about it, but you can ask him. He and I have been discussing it for some time, and I'm happy to share my thoughts with that. With you on that offline.
Yes, sir.
I think it needs to be dialed in very specifically to what the objective is. You know, a mission statement, slogans. You know, but I've been just watching, but I want to say I appreciate your enthusiasm. You've always been a strong supporter of this company. As a fellow veteran, I want to thank you for your service.
You too,
And thank you for sharing your thoughts with us tonight.
I thank you too, Marine, and nice to meet you. I'm glad I was able to hear a lot of what you had to say. So, yeah, those space calls, man, I'll be honest. I know some people enjoy them. I can't say that I do. I feel like they mess with your mental trading psychology worse off than better. And that's up for debate, you know, in the chat or whoever wants to talk about it. But I feel at this point, we've been in this play for 2 years, some even longer. Most of us have already had our conviction set in stone, and I don't need to hear 500 people talk about it. And especially hearing other people in the community say negative things, it does a lot of more damage than helping.
Most,
That's my
and most importantly, hang on one second, because I try and say this every live stream, but I want to say it one more time. Most importantly, if we're all fighting for the same goal, we are allowed to have different ideas of how to get there, and you should be able to have adult conversation, even dissent or disagreement about it, without the fucking personal attacks.
Right.
And it's almost to the point where I think that the people who are spinning their Twitter and YouTube doing nothing but personal attacks, they're the fucking ones being paid to ruin this movement.
Exactly.
Because there's no place for that bullshit.
And
No.
Tony, you mind if I add to that real quick?
I do not mind at all.
What you just said is exactly another thing I've been pointing out. And this is bugging the living daylights out of me, especially in social media world and Twitter. You're an ape, or you're a retail investor that you are invested in a company that I'm invested in, or someone else is invested in. And you believe in that company, but they are frustrated and they say something, their feelings about that company, and you're going to tell them then to sell. Like, why would you do that? Like, I don't understand that one. And to me, it's newer. It's something that's been happening for a while now, but it started coming out and it's coming out full force. And I'm like, wait a minute. Some of these accounts are people that have done nothing but pump hopium tweets all the time and pumping up all this stuff. Now all of a sudden they're going to attack people. Like, stop, man. We have a right to your personal feelings. You have a right to your frustrations. And you know what? What happened to the 801 days when we would support each other and say, look, I'm coming for you, man. I'm going to stick this out to get back to $70 or $65 or 40 or whatever you paid into. Just do me a favor, folks. Stop telling people if they're frustrated or they make a negative comment about Adam Aaron or a negative comment about anything. More than likely, they're frustrated, they're angry, they're throwing it out in the air because no one's listening to them. And then you're going to go and tell them to sell their stocks? Or to get out of the company and move on? Come on, that is the stupidest thing you could do.
Is that what's happening on the space calls? Are they saying sell AMC?
I've heard people come out and do it. It's mostly during tweets, but
Yeah.
I've heard people get mad and frustrated if an argument starts. Well, then just sell. Why are you even here? Move on. And it's like, no, dude, like that's the shills, guys. I'm sorry. The ones that are doing that now, think about it. That's the real division makers. If they're trying to tell you to leave, something's wrong with that. And I'll tell you,
I have said that comment to be, full disclosure. If someone tells me they don't believe that this stock is ever going to squeeze, if you say that, then fucking sell, right? You can like Adam Aaron, you can not like Adam Aaron, but if you believe in the future of the company, it doesn't matter to me what you think about the CEO. Half the people I talk to like him, half the people I talk to don't like them. I don't fucking care what your opinion is about the CEO. You have the right to voice your opinion either way.
Correct.
But if you're talking people out of the stock just based on, the CEO is not for us, we gotta sell. Fuck him. That is destructive. You know what I'm saying? If you don't believe in the future of the company, you probably shouldn't be in this play. You probably shouldn't even be wasting your time in space calls or Twitter or YouTube on it. But if you believe in the play, whatever your viewpoints are, whether I agree with you or don't agree with you, if we're pulling the same direction, got the same end goal, I'm happy to hear different opinions always, whether I agree with them or not.
One thing you'll remember, Tony, is unfortunately also hit a point where people feel trapped. And so we've got people now that at this point, they're so negative and so on the outskirts, but they can't sell their stocks, so they're stuck. I've even called them out in my comments on my YouTube videos. I'm like, I even asked, I said, then why are you here? Like, I don't understand. Why are you on my channel? And well, you have good things to say. And I'm like, well, and I'll have a conversation with them and I can hear that they're just so frustrated and they feel like they're trapped and they can't get out because if they sell the stock at this point, that they're going to make such a massive loss. And, I get where you're coming from. And I think about those people too. And I'm like, those become non-believers. And man, when you become a non-believer, they become the most hatred. And then when we got the community attacking them and it just escalates and it's just, I don't know, it's gotten to a point where it's kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you.
Yep.
To see it happen.
That's what happens, unfortunately, when people, and I see it in many, many tickers every week, when people are told dates or told clickbait or told catalysts that are based on generating YouTube views instead of based on sharing real information, people get a false expectation and then they feel disappointed or even, betrayed. But that that is you weren't betrayed. You listened to a fucking clickbaiter. So get in my world, get in a world of reality.
Yep.
And we will explain to you that you're in a bear market. Big money is leaving equities right now, and you're going to have to fucking be patient. I'm sorry if you unsub because I say be patient. I don't care. But that is the reality. That is the fucking reality.
Those people will always come back. I don't care. It happens every time.
They'll come back when it's running up.
They always come back.
Running up.
So all those people that are complaining in the space calls, they're going to come back the second that AMC runs up 25%.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
But yet they want to sit there for hours on end. Obviously, they have nothing better to do. So they're just going to buy in anyway. They're just delayed buying pressure as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. Maureen, what did you say your first name's Mike?
Yes, sir.
Mike, thank you for coming on. Any last words for the folks? We're going to talk about Avatar next and how fucking spectacular it's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude.
Nice to meet you, Mike. I'm Steven.
Yeah, you too, Super Steven. No, Tony, I appreciate you reaching out and giving me the space. If any of you are more curious, Tony, you just said reach out to me about it, because what I've been doing with the whole 1/28/2023 idea is I'm trying to break through the crap, the muck that's put out there, and let people realize that it is something they can do, but I can't do it all. I don't want to be the guy that does it all. So ideas, processes, all that stuff, we need that. So I'm glad you said that. And if anybody else is listening in, same thing, man. I look at it in this mass marketing day, awareness day, and I need more. So, but other than that, keep it up, stay strong, guys. We are in a bear market. We are in a down market. He's right. Big money's taking their money out. They actually started taking their money out quite a while ago.
Yep.
So, it always comes back.
It does. It does. You're not close to my age, but I see a couple gray hairs in your beard. So you might have lived through one or two bear markets before. This is all very predictable. We all know what's going to happen when things get fixed, but it's just surviving until then and not making stupid decisions while we're waiting it out.
That's right, Tony. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you folks so much. Maybe we can get back on here in the future.
Thanks, Mike.
See you,
Yes,
Mike.
sir.
Check out tell us the name of your YouTube channel for folks. This is your first time seeing you.
Yeah, it's God, I got so many freaking handles. I try to stick to the same handle, but I think the YouTube got changed. You just look for it's either the Marine XXX or XXX the Marine. I think they got me a little shadow ban. I've had people say they can't find me when they search for me.
Or you can probably look for the Marine Space AMC. I bet you'll come up there.
Oh,
too.
You're right. Somebody said something about that. The Marines. I don't know.
Hey, man, I just want to say
Triple X the Marine. There we go.
Triple X. I love your passion for the company.
See it.
And I notice you have chickens too. I do as well. So
I love my chickens.
Farmer shout out.
Yeah, thanks, man. All right, guys. Good night.
Take care.
Thanks, Frank Lehman over there. I see you. Foothills, all you guys. Have a good night.
Adios. Steven, talk to us about Avatar. Should I buy calls? Should I buy stock? What the fuck is Avatar?
There's a lot going on with Avatar. I just ran a live stream, Tony. I don't know how much you saw of it, but there's a lot going on with Avatar. Besides Avatar, though, Wakanda Forever actually just exceeded 700 million in revenue, and Violent Night's doing really well too. And that's pretty shocking. 700 million.
I want to go see. I want to take the wife to go see Violent Night this weekend. So
that's a good one. Here's the big news, though, that people aren't talking about. So ever since the pandemic, China has been picking and choosing which films to put for like their Marvel, or they're very picky and choosy. Like, for example, Black Adam had a lot of financial problems because it didn't get a clean release in China. So the big news is Avatar is not going to have any issues. It's going to debut in China at the same exact time as we get it on December 16th. So that's going to be huge revenue. So to put that in perspective, the total 2020, you remember when Avatar re-released recently?
Yeah, I went and saw it.
Yeah, so when they re-released it in China, it made $58 million.
Damn.
So it's a big deal getting a China release. And we didn't get that with Black Adam. We didn't get that with Doctor Strange and a lot of the big movies, but we're going to get it with Avatar. So, you know, there's only 6 films in history that have ever hit the $2 billion mark, but it's James Cameron we're talking about. So I'm confident that we're going to hit that $2 billion mark. A lot of people are saying 1 billion, but yeah, the word masterpiece is getting thrown around a lot from the people I know that have already seen the film.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard that you might know a couple people that have already seen it.
Yes, and they went to Comic-Con and they went to some of the events that you have to see, that you have to have special passes for, and they do reviews and stuff. And I was a little nervous, you know, but from what I'm hearing, it's bigger, better, visually engrossing. I've heard that one of my friend was telling me that he missed a couple plot points just because he was too busy staring at the fish, you know, things that that are visually astounding. There was an interview with James Cameron, and he was saying to go see it in IMAX 3D or Dolby Cinema. That's the best experience for this movie.
We got our tickets already, and they are in IMAX 3D.
Yeah. And to everyone in the chat, I highly recommend paying the extra money to go see it in those premium formats, not just because you're going to get the best experience, because it helps AMC the most. Those upcharges obviously contribute to the revenue, and so does the popcorn, right? So.
All right. So buy calls. No, I'm just teasing. I almost pulled the trigger. I've got some December AMC calls, and I've got some March. I think I said earlier they were January. They're March calls, but I'm gonna add some January calls. I did not pull the trigger today because I was waiting to catch it on a dip.
Yep.
I'm gonna see what Monday does. You guys know I'm a greedy bastard, and I like to buy stuff on dips, even though I don't want to see stuff dip. And maybe it won't on Monday, but regardless, Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to buy some January calls just to fucking double down on AMC.
Oh God. Okay, so
because Steven told me it's going to blow the roof.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you to buy calls, but I'll tell you this.
I know. I'm not telling anyone to do it either. I'm just saying I'm going to do it.
Do you remember what happened before and after Maverick?
Yes, AMC went up 100%.
Okay, so the domestic opening weekend for Maverick was about 125 million. The domestic opening weekend projected for Avatar is 170 million. So that should answer your call question.
Yeah, I can't make any predictions on what's going to happen with stock price, obviously, right? And we got the Fed decision coming up next week, and a whole bunch of fucking shit in the market going on. Bad news left and right, layoffs, too much inventory, yada, yada, yada. Look, none of us have a crystal ball that is perfect, but I'm going to swing a little bit of money on some January calls just in case, you know, just enough money that if I lose it, well, the wife has to skip a steak dinner. But if I'm right and I buy, let's say AMC's at $5.50 or $5, and I get $5.50 or $6 strikes, and it goes up to 11 or 12, right, even if it went up to 8, that's going to pay off. That will pay off handsomely, and you know, then she gets 3 steak dinners, you know, and if minus 1 or plus 3. That's the risk reward.
And if you don't hit, she doesn't eat any steak.
If I don't hit, she'll never know about it, Steven.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, yeah, and that's why I wanted to say my prediction also on your stream. There's a couple things that are really going in Avatar's favor. One, you got the China release, which we don't have for the other movies. But 2, Ant-Man, Shazam, and Aquaman were the big movies that were coming out in Q1. They've actually pushed them forward. So that sounds bad, but it's actually good for Avatar because it's less competition. More screens will have Avatar on them, and it will be in theaters longer. I was seeing some tweets, and the speculation is that they're going to keep Avatar in theaters for at least 4 months.
What do you mean? What do you mean by they push them forward? Like earlier in the calendar or later?
Later. They pushed Shazam and Ant-Man were supposed to come out in January.
You think they didn't want to compete with Avatar? That's why they did that?
I don't know. Maybe. I think it's good for Avatar.
Yeah.
Because then because then you don't have people going to Ant-Man, and the word of mouth will be better on Avatar.
Yeah. I bet they didn't want to get in front of that steam train.
Right. Exactly. So you got a guaranteed 4 months in the theaters, which is great. And I think the only other place you can watch is Disney Plus, because Disney Plus has the rights. So, but because of how long it's going to be there, I think it's going to hit 2 to 2.5 billion worldwide. A lot of people are saying, the Bears are saying 1 billion. The break even throughout my research comes to about 8 to 900 million, depending on how much they spent on marketing. But AMC either way is slated to get about a third of the cost. So we'll see. But overall, I think that we're going to see a 2 to 2.5 on this film.
And since you are the movie guy, just give us a quick synopsis of the 2023 calendar for movies versus 2022, 2021, because you know, a lot of my belief in why I'm still holding AMC despite it being run down is that every year that goes by, the movie releases get better and better as the production houses get up and running again. What can you share with us about 2023 calendar versus previous years?
So in 2022, we over relied on big hits. We were always just waiting for the next hit. We didn't have a consistency to the amount of movies that came out. And Adam Aaron admitted it on the earnings call. He said, we're just not getting the movies. And we depend on that for revenue. We depend on Hollywood to put out good movies that people like. And also we had the China issue where they weren't releasing them overseas. So our international budget was also getting hammered. That was 2022. That's not the case in 2023. In 2023, it's estimated we're going to have 20 to 30% more movies than 2022. So more movies, more revenue, and better movies overall. So that's going to, and we're going to have more international presence. So that's about 3 or 4 ways we're going to make more money. And then you have the kicker is in 2023, we have a lot more movies that are highly anticipated internationally, specifically like the Super Mario Brothers that's coming out. That's going to be a massive, massive $1 billion movie in Japan and China. They love Mario like crazy.
And every quarter that goes by, I think we get people less and less fearful about COVID or going into public places. Clearly, we still have some, right? And God forbid we don't have a C23 variant pop up. That would be a bearish signal for me, guys. Just being perfectly honest.
Yep.
If you get a C23, well, you know what's coming next. If they start shutting shit down, everything's gonna go down. You make your own decisions. But assuming that things continue to get better and people get more confident about going out, the movie attendance will continue going up, and streaming services are cutting back. Tell us about the streaming services, Stephen. I keep on seeing them cutting budgets, losing money.
Yeah.
What can you share about that?
Each one has their own story. I mean, Netflix is doing really well, surprisingly, after they had a bad couple quarters a little while back, but they've rebounded. They're starting to work with AMC, which I like. And you saw that with Glass Onion, the recent Knives Out movie that came out. They released it in AMC first, see how much money they can get, and then it goes to Netflix only. So I like Netflix. They care about the movie theater experience, and they've proven that. They've bought movie theaters themselves. Disney Plus is different. They're doing their own thing because they can. They have a lot of titles and exclusivity. Paramount Plus, they've worked with actors, which is bullish for AMC because actors derive majority of their money from AMC or movie theater experience. So Paramount's in the green. HBO Max is a little shaky. And anyone in the chat who knows about DC films, they've overall disappointed. HBO is kind of going through a wave and bad management. DC has been suffering in general, and you saw that with Black Adam. You see it with Batman was actually successful, and Joker, same thing. But overall, HBO Max is probably one of the weaker.
And how about Amazon? What was it they said that they allocated $1 billion towards producing cinema releases in is it in 2023 that they're planning on doing that?
I believe, and might have to double check me, is $1 billion annually to movie theaters.
Now, I read an article that someone said, well, this is clearly not going to impact AMC, like $1 billion in ticket sales. And I'm like, you dumb fucks. That did not say $1 billion in ticket sales. It said Amazon is allocating $1 billion towards production and probably marketing,
Right.
which generally they expect to do at a minimum 2x, right? At a minimum, because they want to recoup their cost and make a profit. So it's not going to be $1 billion in ticket sales if the quality is there. And I think Amazon does a pretty good job of creating content.
Amazon they're in like the testing phase. They're investing a lot into proven projects like Lord of the Rings or others, but they're kind of like dipping their feet in it. They're not jumping in like Netflix, but they are still, they're kind of like, hey, if it's successful, I'm willing to invest. That's their attitude. So, but it's good. I mean, I want to dispel the FUD we're going around on Avatar being 2 billion to break even. That's a bunch of crap. It's actually 800 million to break even. Think about it like this, guys. Like, if a movie costs 2 billion to make, would any studio greenlight that?
Fuck no.
Fuck no. Hell no. No. The most expensive marketing campaigns are about $300 million. And the most expensive movies are about $300 to $400 million. There's to my experience, there's no movie in existence that costs more than 400 or 500 million to make.
Yeah,
believe it or not, the Fast and the Furious movies cost a lot.
My ballpark for production plus marketing for Avatar 2 is about 750 million, and that's for the production house to break even. Whether they make money or lose money is irrelevant to AMC, right? AMC's making money every ticket sold.
Right. And
obviously we want the movie to do 2 billion ish, because that's more money that flows into the movie production company and to the theaters both.
Right. What happened was James Cameron was interviewed and they said, hey, I know this is expensive. What does this have to do? And he said, it's got to be a top 5 film to break even. Those were his words. But then the reporters turned around and said, oh, does that mean it's 2 billion to break even? And they twisted up his words.
Yeah.
And then the people started running with it. And of course, James Cameron's not going to admit the true cost of Avatar until way later. But it's presumed to be what you said, around 900 is probably the highest. But it's because it's groundbreaking technology. That's why.
The closer we get to the date, the more and more previews that I see, and Adam Aaron shared one recently that it just looks spectacular. And I was watching that preview, and I was getting as excited watching that preview as when I used to be waiting for the latest edition of World of Warcraft to drop. Like,
right.
that's how geeky I am about movies.
Right.
I used to be a gamer. I've always been a movie guy, and I just love when they push the edge of technology,
right,
and animation. And this Avatar 1 was groundbreaking. This promises to deliver even more.
I've heard from the people I've talked to that the technology in this movie is like, it's something that you've never seen before. Just the facial expressions, and it's just extremely. They developed new technology just for this movie, and it's about 20 years in the making. But when it all shakes out in general, AMC and other exhibitors, it's not just AMC, make about 1/3 of the revenue. So, but that's not going to be the majority of what helps us. So now we're talking about being an investor, right? And as an investor, in my opinion, popcorn is where you're going to help the company the most. Yeah, yeah, 86% markup on popcorn.
I call it straight to the bottom line bucket.
Yeah, and you want to help people? Buy them popcorn. Buy a mega bag. Give it to people. You really want to help the company? Pay for the Dolby Cinema. Pay for the premium services, and pay for the nuggets. That's how you really help the company. And go to the movies.
I think we all have always intuitively known that theaters don't make the bulk of their profits off of tickets. The ticket is to get people in the door and blow your wad on concessions, because that's where they just kill it. So don't be sneaking in those hot tamales and jujubes.
Right.
If you're an investor in the company, spend the extra couple bucks. It's probably better than buying a share.
And remember, we don't retain all the ticket sales. We only retain about half. The studio's guaranteed the other half. So Tony's right. Yeah, it's majority of it is beverages and popcorn.
What else was I gonna? Is Sufjan still listening to him?
I don't think so.
He always goes to sleep early. Hey, let me talk to you. I see a couple people talking about MMTLP. We addressed that early on in this live stream, but I'm going to touch on it now that we've been going. How long have we been going for here? About an hour and 15 minutes. This is a very sour medicine for. There he is, Sufjan. All right. Oh, yeah. You going to join in on video? All right. Hang on one second. So I'll send it to you. MMTLP, if you read, guy, I hate saying this.
This is hard, Tony, for you to say this.
If you read the notice that was sent out on December 6th, it very clearly says it will not be quoted ex-dividend. Now, I know not everybody is a due diligence regulation reading expert, but that means that after the ex-dividend date, which is the 9th, you're not going to be able to trade the stock. That has been known since December 6th. It was reiterated on the 8th in another update, and then clarified for a final time in a notice just to be in your face. Hey, you're not going to be able to trade this shit. Is MMTLP like AMC and APE? Absolutely not. It's a very rare occurrence that a ticker goes private and gets spun off into a private another company, NextBridge.
Wait, but Tony, if you could answer this question, because I think a lot of people have a misconception.
Yeah.
A lot of people think in the ape community that if a company takes their shares private, then the shorts have to cover. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, I heard that for the last 2-3 months on MMTLP, and what I did was call trade desks and talk to nationally known short sellers that I know. No, I do not short sell, but I like to keep close ties with the enemy. And I asked them, is this true? Do the shorts have to cover if the company is going private? And the trade desk told me at some point before the last day, we will close out if the investor hasn't closed out. And the institutional short seller told me, fuck no, they do not have to. They do not have to cover. So first of all, you're listening to YouTubers who have no evidence of 200 million. I heard them say 200 million synthetics. This was a supposition, which that's fine if you want to believe in that. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Doesn't matter. That's water under the bridge at this point. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not here to debate the number of synthetic shares, but I've been saying for 2 or 3 months that at least 2, that the prime time to capture profits on MMTLP would be before they announce the S3 date. And I got called FUD and bearish and short seller. Guys, I'm not even in the fucking play. I don't care what you do. I want to see you take your money home.
Yeah, exactly.
If a company is going to be delisted, it's going to get rug pulled one way or another, either from people selling or institutional fuckery. It doesn't matter at this point. how or why.
And we don't want to go to court for that, right?
Well, I mean,
So-
they want to go to court, and I wish them luck. Yeah, I mean, whatever they want to do, that's up to them. I don't care. I'm not in the play. I
don't want to go
want
to
to
court
see
when
people
AMC.
take. I want to see people take $12 a share home,
Yeah.
and they all just skipped on the opportunity, and it's unfortunate. But you know, I might not be popular. My message might suck, but hit the sub button, and we'll try and save you on the next one.
Tony, can I wrap up now that Sufjan's here? Can I wrap up some of the Avatar stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, this is my opinion on Avatar. If you're going to bet on one movie, it's this one. For the next 4 months, you're most likely going to see Avatar there, just like Top Gun. I could see this being profitable more than what the analysts are saying. They're saying 1 billion, and we're going to make 200 million. I think it's going to be higher than that. And that's mainly because of Aquaman and Shazam getting pushed out of the way, and Ant-Man. Now, let's not forget, Avatar has their own theme park in Florida, which is really good. It's going to generate some more popularity. And a little update on the franchise, Avatar 3 is already completed. James Cameron stated, if this movie does well, which we all know it will, you're going to get this movie within 2 years. He said that already in an interview. That's good for us. You got another billion-dollar film, multi-billion-dollar film coming within 2 years. That's good. Avatar 4 is halfway done. Avatar 5 has not been shot. The initial release date for Avatar 2 was around 2017, but they've perfected this movie so much that's why it delayed, and then you had COVID too. Top Gun made up 1.4 billion. Avatar, I believe, will exceed that. It's pretty crazy because Top Gun was a great film. If this movie connects, it's not going to just be a normal movie. Like, the movie has to be good, but good for the right reasons, because this has the potential to be a cultural, international phenomenon, like 2009 Avatar. So if that happens and the movie's actually good, I could feel like that would be a massive boost to the confidence of AMC investors. That's all. I'm good now.
Thank you for that. And yes, the next Avatar is already filmed and in the bag. I heard that James Cameron, one of the reasons this one got delayed is he wasn't happy with the script, and he basically redid the story to make it even better. So, and I'm with you. I might be wrong. Go ahead and jot this down, but I think $2 billion over the theatrical release of this one is not out of bounds on predictions.
If it goes crazy, it could go to 2.5. And that's without apes. I mean, we got people that are motivated to go to the theater just to go. Like, I know people that are invested in this stock that buy tickets and don't even show up. That's how much passion they have for this company, you know?
Yep. Someone just a side question, is Ernst & Young the CPA for AMC? Who I think, isn't that who was on the last proxy statement? Ernst & Young?
I'll be back.
I think so. And Tony, going back to hitting the sub button for being more diligent on those pump and dumps, what piece of advice would you give your potential followers on these pump and dumps?
I was listening in on a space call earlier this afternoon, a couple of hours ago. Shout out to that group. My first time ever to listen in on them. It was a OTC space call. And these guys are traders, right? And first of all, they said, there were a couple things that I heard that they said, but number one is things that you guys have heard me say before: get in early and then fucking take a profit, right? Not everything is a GameStop moonshot. Don't be scared to fucking push the sell button. And if you want to leave a little bit to ride for the moon, then do that. But God damn, don't listen to these people that are running the clickbait channels and get talked into buying something that's already run from $1 to $12 or $8.
Would you agree to actually at least take your initial investment
At a
back
minimum.
and let the rest to right.
At
Yeah,
a minimum.
Yeah.
At a minimum, lock in, you know, once you're profitable, once you've recouped your initial investment, at a minimum, lock that in, take it home, and you want to let the rest of the house money ride, then do that. But I'm just devastated to see all these people losing money and willingly losing it in play after play. And it's not just MMTLP, over and over and over, every fucking play that I watch.
You're not an ape unless you hold the 0.
Fuck that.
Steven,
I want
what
you
piece
guys
of
to be
advice would
here
you
a
give-
year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And with that attitude, you're not going to make it.
Steven, what piece of advice would you give to, not financial advice, but in your case, what are the main things you're looking for in terms of making the most out of it?
I think Tony hits it on the head really well. It's base hits. Stop going for the home run. Take your victories and run. You know, there's always going to be another play. There's always going to be another runner. There's always this idea that you get like latched on to these runners. It's like crazy. You have to, when you're up X%, whatever you're comfortable with, right? You take it and you run. That's really that simple. If you hang on too long and you let the fundamentals catch up to you, you're going to get in trouble. With AMC, it's a little different. We have a dedicated retail shareholder base, and you don't have that with other stocks. So
I'm gonna stop you there, Stephen. Every ticker has a dedicated shareholder base because I watch them every day, dozens of them.
Yeah.
What is different in these pump and dumps, like pink sheet tickers, GTII, for example, if you got in at 60 cents and were able to sell at $8, that was a fucking home run. And whoever was pushing it should have stopped telling people it was going to 100 and taken the victory lap, and he would have been a hero, right? But you're talking about GTII, a company that has not turned in $1 in revenue in 5 years. Read the fucking financials. A company who's paying their bills by the CEO writing personal checks to the company. Again, in the documents.
That's pretty bad.
In the documents. Read them. A company whose 2 employees have not taken a paycheck in years. All right, that's GTII. Now let's talk about COMS. Not filed, Sufyan, a 10Q in 4 quarters.
What do you mean not filed?
Not filed a quarterly statement.
Like, don't they have to do that?
They're under penalty from the exchange and the SEC. Guys, you got to know, you got to read, you got to not ignore what's staring you in the face. If you're playing the momentum, run the fucking momentum, but do not listen to this bullshit.
It's the
price targets.
Yeah, it's the price targets that mess people up.
Yes.
Yeah.
The momentum is fine.
In a matter of technical stuff, how can someone really determine those in a chart, right? I think that's the main focus for. Yeah, you can be aware of like, all right, this is a pump and dump. They have shitty financials. Some people don't know really accounting or financial that much, but financial statements. But how a regular investor or a new investor can really focus on having those lines on a chart.
I mean,
you got to read the finance.
Chart reading is something that you learn over time, right?
Yeah.
But due diligence, everybody should be able to do that. And if you're listening to people that are only telling you what you want to hear and they're getting it wrong time after time, you might want to reevaluate your choices. Now, I don't always tell people what they want to hear. I'm not that fucking entertaining, and I piss people off all the time. But I'm going to read the fucking documents to you so that you can decide on your own what is a reasonable price target versus pie in the sky. Sometimes I let a little bit ride for pie in the sky.
Yeah, it's okay to go for pie in the sky when it's very small amounts, like that you're okay with losing. You gotta be okay with that. Tony, I think what it is people don't want to read the financials or they don't want to learn. They don't. It's much more convenient to just turn on your favorite YouTuber and it.
Oh, they're entertaining as hell. I mean, they got little sayings and they wear funny. Oh, I was gonna say they wear funny hats, but whoops. But you know what I mean, guys. Just look at the track record. You can look back at a year at all the tickers all the videos they made on all the tickers and what their price targets were. Many of these people have fantastic early call outs. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm not telling you to stop watching them. I'm telling you to use a little bit of common sense when you're listening to their price targets.
At the same time, though, Tony, those call outs are, you don't remember the ones that didn't work out, like SDC. You know,
if you were bag holding them still, you fucking remember them.
Exactly. But, you know, yeah, a lot of people don't remember the bad ones. Like, yeah, there's a lot.
No, trust me, people remember.
Yeah.
You know how many I'm bag holding right now?
Tony, you should probably have a track list of all these pump and dumps and like your call out. Because it's been, I think you're on a big on a big streak right now, right? Like since I know you, like we started like let's say with Mullen, Cosmo, Redbox, dumps, and like it's always the same shit. Always
a streak of predicting. You mean a streak of predicting exactly what they were going to do?
Yeah, and like Tony is like, you're like, all right, this is a retail play, and it seems like you have this power or you have this ability to really know that it's gonna go down, right? Because it's a retail play based on their financials or their activity or the industry or the economy. So this is very interesting. I mean, I can go on and on like with a couple plays we've been talking over a year. Let's say Redbox, Cosmo, Mullen, GTII, all these plays. I mean, like they've been pumping. But they've been dumping.
Do I ever tell you guys don't play them?
No, never. You say, get in, get out.
Thank you. I mean,
take your profit.
A lot of people,
take your profit.
A lot of the people that hate this channel think that I'm constantly saying shit about their play or that I'm telling people don't get in the play. That could not be further from the fucking truth.
No, I think Tony, you're encouraging people to make money, and people that don't see it that way, they're just over leveraged or they see their stock going down, and that's the hard
Tony.
Truth.
You
right?
actually take the time to do DD on a play like that are highly speculative. Like I'd take one look at GTII, I wouldn't even talk about it. You at least give people your own personal time to do the research. I imagine you spend hours of your personal time offline doing research, and you don't have
all day, every day, my friend, including the weekends.
Right. That's what I'm
saying. And he doesn't sleep at all, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you never disregard stuff either, you know? Like you could easily look at the chart just disregard it, you know, without even doing a deep dive on it. But, you know,
looking at the chart is one thing, but you know, I'm assuming that if other people are doing, you know, giving price targets, they must have done some level of due diligence to come up with that target. And so I just want to cross check them like I would want anybody to cross check me. But when I do the due diligence, I just see a fucking can of worms. And so I will tell the folks in the Discord, here's how we're going to play it. We're going to play it on the momentum, but no one is telling the truth about the due diligence. Here's the real story.
Right.
And get the fuck out as soon as it tops out and starts turning. I don't care how many months they make videos saying stay in it. If we're talking like OTC plays, little $1 plays, companies that have, have no revenue. I know all the haters are going to say AMC is the same thing. I get it. AMC had a squeeze in June. It came down and we're now back in the post squeeze price. But this is a multi-billion-dollar company that was punished due to COVID and is recovering out of it. They've got a lot of debt. And that is the thing you need to keep your eye on. Cash position, top line revenue, and debt. That we look at that every quarter. We don't shy away from that one bit in any of our discussions in the Discord or on this channel.
You have to constantly reevaluate.
And looking at retained earnings, looking at the activity of the statement of cash flow, looking at all these good stuff so you can really have a good overview scope of your investment risk management. Having a portfolio at the end of the day, that's it. And those pump and dump, that's not financial advice, but you shouldn't use at least more than 10%, never more than 10% of these pump and dumps. This is ridiculous. Guys, come on, wake up.
I mean, they're
seriously,
they're fun to play, but you can't get greedy. That's the key. You got, don't play any of these runners that you wouldn't mind immediately losing your investment. That's the truth.
We always say that, and everyone says it, right? Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. But based on the wailing and gnashing of teeth that I see going on, I feel like everybody's putting in way more than they can afford to on any play.
Well, they're just going to lose all their money then.
They won't be here in a year.
Yeah, they won't. They're going to do that 3 times, and then they'll just lose it all. I mean, the market doesn't feel.
I'll be here with you, Tony.
The market.
I know you two, Will. You guys are smart.
Yeah, the market doesn't care. It doesn't care about your money. If you act dumb, it's going to take it. It's that simple. So you better learn by hearing it from 3 people that have lost money in the market than you losing your own. We don't want you to lose your money. That's the point.
Someone asked about CGRA, that little stock being pumped on other channels. I got out of CGRA today. I posted it in Discord in the VIP. It was breaking down too much. There is a $21 price target that an analyst posted on that stock. Wait, no, not CGRA. That's Farvaris, sorry. CGRA, I also am out of. CGRA and Farvaris, both started breaking down. Let me put up the chart. I'll show you exactly when I got out of CGRA.
That's the penny stock, right?
Yeah. Let me find the right screen. I actually got out of this one live the other day.
This was the 10-cent one, right?
Yeah. I said, I've been saying since Monday, if it broke under 10 cents, I would get out of it. Where is it? I got out right at the top of this candle live.
Yeah, Tony, that looks like an institution also got out at 10 cents.
Yeah. Right at the top of this candle, I was live streaming. I was like, okay, it broke under 10. I'm selling right now. And then when I looked up at 2 minutes later, it was down to 4 cents. I was like, good Lord.
Tony,
by the grace of God, I got out of that just in time.
Maybe you caused that big candle because you're
I was not holding. I don't hold that much on a shit play like this. This was 100% speculation. I cannot validate any DD on that play. I was only in it in case retail pushed it up. I gave them 3 days. It wasn't happening. I got the fuck out, and then it cratered.
But look, it's gonna gap fill and run back up to 100.
It might. I mean,
I'm just kidding.
Who knows what happens next? But I'm glad I got out when I did. Farvaris, I got out of it today. I got in yesterday at the end of the day. I lost a little bit of money on this one. I was hoping that this big run that it's had would extend, but I mean, here's the daily chart. This is the one. It's at $8 right now. An analyst put out a $21 price target. I set an alert, guys, on this one to notify me in the future if it starts running again. So you can go on your broker and set an alert for when it starts moving, and I'll look at it again. But I'm done watching that one for right now. Farvaris.
Is that a pharma
PHVS.
stock?
It's a pharma stock, yeah.
So in my experience, when pharma stocks typically run up, they almost never break the all-time high.
Well, this one has some really promising drugs or treatments, but it's only in phase 2. So you're talking a year from now, at least at a minimum. So if I have a chance to maybe buy it cheaper, maybe if it gaps back down, maybe I'll buy it at $2-3 and hold it for a year. I'd be okay with that.
There's a huge difference between phase 2 and 3.
But we always talk about
Tony.
this, right, guys? When it's not going your way, pull the fucking ripcord. Do not sit there and question yourself. Maybe it'll bounce. If it's going the wrong way, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Let's look at Redbox 6 months chart.
Oh boy.
I have a question.
You really want to go there?
Oh boy.
He gave you the 6 month, not the 3 month.
All right.
This is a classic right here.
How crazy. Yeah, how crazy it was back in end of July, right?
Yep.
Oh no, so not end of July. So when did it start?
It started mid-June, mid-May, and it ran to its peak at mid-June.
Yeah.
And then we knew, we got documentation that it was going to be bought out by Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yep.
For about 80 cents a share. I don't remember what the number was. Some stupidly low number. Yeah. And people were adamant that they were going to diamond hand it for $100. Like, if you diamond hand this to the bitter end, you're going to get 80 cents a share.
Right.
$1.50, whatever the hell it was.
After that news, just to explain the folks out there, after that news, Tony, what was going on in your head for Redbox?
I thought it was a beautiful play on the run up, and after people kept on talking about it, look, the same thing I always talk about. When the daily candles start coming down and the volume is coming down, you should be paying attention to that, as the play is probably done, no matter how many YouTube videos you watch.
Yeah, the volume is huge, was going down.
Yep. And
Steven,
even worse,
the same way?
Even worse, the filings, the filings, we knew what Chicken Soup for the Soul was going to pay for it. And there was no sense to hold it once that filing was in.
Steven, I think Steven saw the downside a lot. I think Steven was the one who told me that, like, yeah, I think Redbox is going to go down pretty fast. The big, really steep.
They had horrific fundamentals. I mean, no one actually goes and picks up DVDs. They have streaming at home and theatrical. But like Tony said, if people buy it, it can go up. It's that simple. Sometimes.
It can go up, of course.
I say all the time, do not underestimate retail's willingness to push up shitty stocks.
But you got to know when it's over.
Right. That is the key. That is what comes with experience.
Yeah.
And every day I get a little better. Every day I'm not a CPA, I'm not a financial analyst. I never worked on Wall Street, but I pay a lot of attention.
But you're a hell of a trader, though.
Well, according to a certificate given to me by somebody on the Discord, I'm the number 2 short squeeze specialist.
He has the short squeeze tools.
For me, Tony, you're number 1.
Yeah, I mean, Tony, I think of it like this. When I see the long wick, like when it's like this long, it looks like a needle at the top, it's most likely done. When it looks like
I can tell you that long needle is shorts covering. I've watched many of those, and I've sent some people video links of shorts that I know on YouTube
Yep.
that get caught sideways in these plays. One dude lost 800,000 on, I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
A retail short sale trader lost, he lost 400,000 on HKD trying to short it. And he lost 800,000 on ILAG, ILAG. Remember that squeeze?
Yeah, that was actually that was moving fast.
Look at this chart here.
ILAG was a good one.
See this tall wick that you're talking about, Steven?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
That was his $800,000 going down the tubes. And
yeah, if
you
you're
know
long,
what, you know what happens right after that? All the buying pressure is exhausted because the shorts have covered, and it's always very predictable exactly what happens next. A big red candle.
Yep.
This was not FOMO buying. This was shorts covering. You guys got to recognize this pattern. I want you to burn this picture into your head. When you see this, this is shorts covering. You need to expect it's going to go down after
Tony,
that.
that's what we saw on BBBY.
Yes, we've seen it on many. I see it every week.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, like it takes. I would say it takes a lot of experience, but common sense with this experience and learning from your mistakes and not being too gritty. Thus, having a real focus on improving your emotional intelligence through the stock market. Right? I think that those are the main two things. Would you say that, Tony?
Yep. Yep.
You don't have to be a financial advisor. You don't have to be a CFA. You don't have to be a CPA. You have to be emotionally intelligent to be
on
a good trader.
On the OTC space call that I was on earlier, one guy was asking, "What do you guys use, for your trading signals, and how do you find these plays, and how do you learn how to make money on them?" And I loved their answer. It was screen time.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Sitting in front of the fucking monitor watching these plays minute by minute, day after day is how you fucking get experience.
It's like a
pattern. Tony, like I think sorry Steven, but like I really want to say this.
Sure.
Like most of the people in the YouTube community that focus on that want to learn trading or investment or just do their research about or look at videos about trading, they have this perception of possibly being a day trader someday, but they have to realize how fucking hard it is. You have to look at the fucking screen and understand what's going on and be there and be emotionally intelligent. Not everyone can do that. You have to pass those tests.
And you have to have enough money with
enough money.
You got to have enough money to learn from the mistakes.
You got to have like 3 cycles worth of.
And the introspection.
But Tony,
the introspection.
Could you expand on how hard it is, trader?
Well, like 95% of them don't last a year.
Yeah, you're just not gonna make it. It's too hard. I mean, the best one is paper trade, I think, for a long time.
You got to have
Steven, can you expand on how hard it is?
Hang on, before you ask Steven a question, I just want to say you have to have the whatever the play it is. MMTLP is the one right now. You got to have the introspection to break down and internalize what was the key mistake I made here. Was I listening to the wrong people? Was their due diligence wrong? Did I get screwed by FINRA? Should I have taken profit earlier and just not been so greedy? Whatever you come up with, every one of those is a learning opportunity. Most of them have the same answer. You were too greedy. You believed the wrong people.
$2 into 20K. What's the next play? That's the mentality.
Yeah.
What was that, Sufjan?
Sufjan, what was your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, Steven, can you expand in how what's your perception of being a day trader and what does it take to be a day trader and how hard it is?
And spin a little of your gambling experience.
Yeah, I was about to go into that. So I deal with this on a different level because I do risk management for a sports betting company. So everybody is a day trader in their own words. They're betting the next football game or the next the next hot pick. There's a lot of people that pay for sports picks. It's no different than getting bad advice from a YouTuber. It's the same thing. You don't know what's going to happen on the day of the sport or whatever it is. But as far as difficulty, yeah, I mean, I agree. It's the same thing with sports gambling. 95% of people are going to get washed out. There is a certain percentage of people, though, that are extremely disciplined and they can make a living from it. But it's so hard. It's not, honestly, it's not worth it, in my opinion.
Unless you're in Steven's Discord and you're getting the inside picks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Tony, like in the sports betting, I'm not an expert, but like 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we got to know that there was this UFC coach, Kraus, that was doing illegal activities.
Yeah.
Like either like the stock market, but the sport betting and the UFC, everything is corrupt, right? You have to know to play the game and evaluate the risk management, such having a balance risk. You cannot put everything in the same basket.
It's all for the sake of entertainment, you know? Like people want to be entertained, whether it's going on YouTube or it's betting the Patriots. That's their entertainment, is listening to bad people. So that's the first part. You have to flip your mentality to, why am I listening to this? Why am I being entertained by this? And then you have to be real with it.
I can tell you I have zero sports betting experience. The only bets I've won are by luck. And I bet a lot of stock investors have the same. I bet a lot of stock investors could make the same statement.
Right. I mean, you could learn it easily. It's pretty much just managing risk. You know, you have money come in on one side, you have money come in on another side, just like shorts and longs. And then the market maker takes the middle. That's me.
You guys got market makers in the middle of sports betting too, huh?
Yep.
So you're part of the evil triad?
Yeah, my job is to take the middle every time.
Do you guys make money doing that?
Absolutely. Every time. Yeah, that's the goal. The goal is same thing with a market maker in the market. It's no volatility. So that means you want an equal amount of action on one side as the other. If some whale comes in and they hammer, say, the underdog, you have to adjust the line, adjust the situation, similar to what happens in the derivatives chain. Very similar.
Do you guys want to talk about ape?
Hang on, I'm gonna answer Clark's question real quick. I don't talk about Discord, Clark, but I do have one. You'll have to search through the video descriptions. I'm not here to push Discord, and I really don't want a bunch of uneducated meme traders looking for, $1,000 price targets in my Discord. We do have one. We keep it very real. It's brutally raw. It's even gallows humor sometimes. But yeah, we talk about plays every single day. Hang on one second. I got Scarlett asking me a question. Y'all go ahead for a second.
But yeah, I mean, it's all the same stuff. Whether you're long, short, gambling at a casino, you're trying to take down the casino. You got to think like the market is a casino. Yeah, we're investing. Yeah, there's long-term plays. But when you're talking about the short term, you're gambling. Doesn't matter if it's Costco or if it's Apple. If you're talking short term, you're taking risks. And you have to be okay with those risks.
All right, I'm back. Sorry. Wanted to make sure the dog got fed. He did get fed, and he snuck into a bag of treats and decimated like 6 bags of treats.
Man, yeah, but
fucking dachshunds.
Yeah.
What were y'all talking about?
Just short term. Anything short term is typically the higher risk. It's the highest risk possible. Whether it's sports gambling or a call option, it's the same idea. You're saying something that hasn't happened based on your belief and nothing else, you know?
Someone asked me a great question the other day. I think it was in the Discord. Why they weren't making money buying options right before earnings. And then after the earnings came out, all the options, all of them dropped in value so much.
Oh wow, that's
So that's called implied volatility.
yeah, that's hard to talk about.
And right now, I always recommend, if you don't understand IV or how that stuff works, how the price of options fluctuate, especially as you get closer to an earnings date and uncertainty increases. And the market makers, the way I like to preach it is the market makers are padding. This is not the actual way it works, but think of it as the market makers are padding the price due to uncertainty. They don't want to take a loss, so they
Yeah.
pad the price. Is that a fair way to explain it to a newbie, Stephen?
The way I explain implied volatility is like this. I keep it really simple. Think of it like a basketball game. Before you start the game, the score is 0-0. But at the end of the first quarter, there's a score, right? But every time someone makes a basket, it changes the situation. Everything is changed by every time they go one side of the court or the other. So that's what Tony's referring to as the implied volatility. You never know. One guy could twist his ankle. One guy misses a shot. Now it's a different outcome. So when you're doing options, anything can change at any moment.
So I generally recommend, if you're a beginner, use a tool like Option Strategy, but shorten it, optionstrat.com or optionprofitcalculator.com. Right before you buy that option, go in there, pull up your ticker. These are both free tools. Put in the strike price and the date that you're looking at, and then it will give you a table showing you the payout based on where you expect the stock to move to. And I'm going to tell you right now, using those tools, like 75% of the time, when I look at it, the IV is so high that I'm like, I'm not going to waste my money buying options, because I'd need I'm going to make up a number. I'd need a $9 move to get a 200% gain. And that was not in my scenario of reality. It was probably, I was hoping after earnings it would go up $4, but I'm only going to make 10% if it goes up $4 because the IV is so high.
So Tony, that's the equivalent of, like, say there's a basketball game and one team is up by 50 points. It's 50-5. And then you go in with 10 grand and you bet the team that's up 50 points. You're going to make 10 cents.
Yeah, you're not going to make any money because
you want the game to be even. You want it to be within 5 points, give or take. So then you get a nice action line.
When I'm buying options, this is just my rule. This is not advice. You guys do, some people are happy with 20% gains, but if that's a high risk play, buying options, whether they're puts or calls. If I have an idea of where I think from the current price it's going to move next week or after earnings, whatever scenario I'm looking at, I'm looking for on the table of the potential payout on my expected move, a minimum of 100% gain.
Let me tell you a story, Tony.
And if it's not 100% in the move that I'm expecting, I will not buy the option. That's just me. Like I said, there's other people that are happy with 25%. If you can make 25% in a day, that's fantastic.
Right.
But I'd rather just buy the stock and hold it in case I'm wrong than blow money on options and be wrong. And I am wrong on options a lot.
There are people so in that situation where one team's up 50 points to say 10, there are people that will come in with 100 grand and they'll put it all on the team that's up 50 points, right? And so it'll be $100,000 to win 1,000. They look at it like it's an easy 1,000 because they're up 50 points. Well, guess what? Anything can happen. And that's why the market maker takes the action. I can't tell you how many times I've taken the action in that situation and I've beat them for all 100,000. I can't tell you how many. Anything can happen in sports. So you wonder why Citadel makes their money, or these market makers always take your action, and they give you a laundry list full of calls. Like, they'll give you all kinds of out the money calls. That's what I'm talking about, is out the money calls. And it's because anything can happen. You can always find a way to lose money.
I see someone asking what happened to Massalorian. I'm sure he's still around, guys. Last time I talked to him, which was a couple days ago, I know that he has been doing some other jobs to make money because YouTube just does not pay us that much. So he was invited tonight, but I haven't heard from him in a couple days. So we'll get him on again soon, and I'm sure he's working on videos for you guys as well. He has not gone anywhere. He's just trying to pay his bills.
Options are tough, man. They're really hard. I wouldn't.
My advice on options. Please, 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 for God's sake, practice for years more before you actually do option. Paper trade.
I've told this story maybe one time before, but I've had, when I first started trading, I was mostly investing in mutual funds, and then my trading was all options, 100%. But it was so fucking easy. And this is right now is not the easy time to be playing options. I'm going to tell you that right now, based on someone who's doing it a long time. But in a bull market, buying calls is almost like it's like taking candy from a baby. Maybe buying puts right now, but I don't typically buy puts. I don't like betting the downside. I don't short. But I like buying calls, and this is not a great time for that in a bear market. But I could buy calls on just about any tech company back in the day before the .com crash and make 100 to 500%, sometimes 1,000% within a day. And then the .com bubble popped, and that whole strategy, I lost a shit ton of money on the day that, you know, I was loaded up in options and things just started, watched all those wither away to zero. So have I always been making money every fucking year for the last 30 years? No, I've had my knocks and my losses. The only reason that I am here is to try and share a little bit of that experience with you and help you avoid those mistakes. And the second experiment I did with options, maybe 10 years ago, I said, I'm going to start with $1,000 and I'm going to try and roll it. I forget if it was every day or once a week, but I was going to try and roll it with a successful trade every time for like 20 iterations till I had $100,000. Just roll. Guess how many iterations I got through before that blew up?
One.
No, it was about 5.
That's really good. 5 is pretty.
I don't remember the exact number, but it was not. I didn't make it to whatever I needed to. So this whole theory of you're gonna win and roll it and win and roll it and win and roll it, that is fucking hogwash.
Yep.
You might have heard a couple people
tell me
talking about that theory. That's fucking bullshit.
Can you tell me about the
don't bet all your money. Don't bet all your money and roll. You will fucking lose it. Always pick a percentage of your portfolio and stick to that to survive another day. Go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, Tony, can you, or Steven, can you tell me about the psychology of like when you get worn out on your options, it goes to zero? What is the state of a mind of somebody that loses everything on options?
Mine is I don't care because I literally don't spend money on options that I'm not willing to lose. If that, I'm fixing to lose almost. I don't know. I don't remember what I spent on Royal Caribbean Leaps, $8,000, something like that.
Damn.
It's probably going to be zero by January, but that was the risk I took a year and a half ago when I bought them.
Yeah.
But most of my options plays, and by the way, I averaged down on those. It wasn't initially that much, but my typical options play is several $100s, 100 to 500. And if I double or triple that, that's a great week.
Yeah, that's really good.
But I didn't mean you guys, but I meant somebody that
Well, I'm
let's
just
say YouTuber,
I don't know
somebody
what
that
other
follows YouTube.
I don't know what other people's psychology is, but my psychology is, oh well, got to make it up on the next
Yeah.
one.
Most people,
I'm not spending
yeah.
money I can't recover from.
I think most people just get angry when they lose, just like a typical gambler would
Yeah.
at a slot machine. They just get mad and they walk away and they never invest in the market ever again. I mean,
That's the psychology. Yeah. I mean,
most people
I really
have the
want to
money.
know how do they feel about, like, do they feel like all right, I'm just gonna stack cash again and replay options, or are they gonna learn their lessons, or what's going on?
You
What's their
typically
psychology?
don't learn your lesson until you fully lost it all. And I don't mean like lose it all like your first couple. I mean like it's just like a typical gambler, you know? You got to run through the credit cards. You got to run through everything. And then you realize you made a mistake. Unfortunately, the options market is a place that facilitates that, and that's why I personally recommend, you know, I'm not a financial advisor, of course, but you should have a nest egg. You should have a savings account, right? Before you consider an option. You should have your portfolio set up in a way like Tony talks about long-term investments before considering an option. You should have your basics of all your no credit card debt, and your life should be okay with bills. You shouldn't maybe seek that promotion at your job. You got to that's the last thing you should be worrying about is the latest runner, the latest option play. Get your life in order, get your house in order, and you want to have fun with some bar money, go ahead. But
Get
exactly.
a second job. Get a second job if you have to. Pay off your credit cards before anything.
Yeah.
Before you're investing in it, you should not be trying to pay off your credit cards by investing in options plays. It should be pay off your credit cards with a
Load
second
the
job,
boat.
and then keep that second job and put some money into a brokerage account and try and grow it. But I mean, I hate to go all, what's his name? Dave, what the fuck that
Dave Ramsey.
I hate to go all Dave Ramsey on you, but get your life in order first.
Yeah.
Pay off your debt and then save.
You're way more entertaining than Dave
some.
Ramsey.
Huh?
You're way more entertaining than Dave Ramsey.
But I mean, he speaks a lot of common sense.
Yeah.
You can't be losing money.
To
You can't be losing money every week in the stock market and racking up a credit card bill. That is just craziness.
It's a lot of, I think it's the FOMO. It's the watching people buy calls. It gets tempting, you know. It's like, Tony, if me and you go to the casino and say me and you are sitting next to each other on a slot machine and you hit 10 grand on that machine, I'm like, oh, I got to play that machine after him. And then when you leave, I go and load it up and then I lose. You know?
Yeah, so, I'm not just talking shit here. Like when I was in college, I was stupid. I applied for every credit card that they would give me. And I was making shit for money. And that was a horrible situation to be in. If you're in that situation, I've been there. And I at times worked 3 jobs to get out of that fucking hole and one by one cut up those credit cards. Being debt-free or as debt-free as you can get gives you a lot of options once you get there. But that should be, first of all, the first thing you're focusing on. Yeah. And then set some money in savings in case shit happens, and then put some money into investing in a risk diversified portfolio, not YOLOing everything on one play. God, I mean, I get it. It sucks. This is hard work, guys. If you're not there, it's hard work. I've lived through it. I understand everything of what I'm saying, how much it sucks.
I think the best advice I ever received was get a company that matches 401k. If your current company doesn't match it, find it. It's the best thing for you over the long term. Match up to 5-6% or something like that. It'll be great for you.
Or start your own business and make some money.
Well, I mean, I've started a lot of businesses, Sufjan. You can lose money as easily as you can make money on them. You got to start the right business.
Yep. It's hard.
And now that everybody knows all my businesses, we can start talking about it. I was just waiting for the crazy people to reveal themselves. But yeah, it's no secret. I have businesses. I've had many. Some have worked, some have not. I've learned along the way how to minimize your exposure to having a bad one, and we're going to be talking about that in the coming year. And Stephen and I have been talking about it for months, and other people in the Discord. Stephen, give us a shout out about what you came up with after our talks.
You helped me a lot, Tony. For everyone in the chat that doesn't know, I'm a semi-professional chess player. I also teach at elementary schools nearby, and I was a little disappointed with some of the programs that were going on. So I opened up my own chess program, and Tony helped me talk about like expenses, and Sufjan's really good at accounting stuff. So just learning how to develop a business in this day and age, it's very difficult. Like what Tony was saying, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur until it comes time to actually be a business owner. It's a pain in the ass, but it's really fun at the same time, and it gives you freedom if it works out.
You know, one of the worst bits of advice I ever took was from what's that guy, the guru, Robert Kiyosaki? Is that his name?
Oh,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I got all like gung ho, like start your own business, be your own boss, you'll be rich. Fuck that, guys. You got real talk. You can get rich owning your own business. There's a lot of benefits. Sufjan, you're a CPA, right? There's a lot of benefits and tax deductions from owning your own business, but not all, majority. The vast majority of individual business owners don't make it because they don't get in the right business, or they don't have enough capital, or they don't have enough savings. The pitfalls are many. I'm happy to talk with y'all about all the mistakes I made in the Discord, all the lessons learned, and how to avoid them. Like, use me as a crutch to make your own success. I can help you do that. I've made all the mistakes. I've lost a fuck ton of money. I've had to shut down businesses. I've gotten cremated by recessions.
Damn, Tony, is the number
and
one
operating
mistake
expenses, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, imagine having $30,000 of fixed cost every month, and your revenue goes to zero because of a recession. That fucking sucks.
Damn.
But you learn.
What did I learn from that? Don't have $30,000 a month in fixed expenses. Figure out a way around it.
Yeah. Limit your employees, limit your rent, limit your electricity bill, limit all those bills.
Yes. I would love to share that knowledge with you guys and all the mistakes I made.
You said after
I think Steven's going to be a good entrepreneur.
He's on the right track. Did you say the name of your business, Steven?
Oh, no. So if anyone plays chess and would like to play me or any of the people in my Discord, my website's called Red Lion Chess Academy. I don't know if I can drop it in the chat, but if you can do it, Tony, it's redlionchessacademy.com. If you check it out, I have a Discord membership, and we all do tournaments and all play together, all from different levels. And a lot of the people in there are apes that are currently in there.
Yeah, Steven, you should do a classic ape tournament, yearly classic ape tournament.
Steven, I want to point out two things, right? That we talked about, because you were trying to figure out what business to do.
Yes.
And my first advice is find something that you're passionate about and figure out a way to monetize it.
Right.
Right. Remember that conversation? And secondly, I want you to talk about how you figured out a way. Your way is ingenious. That was not my idea. I want you to talk about how you figured out a way to minimize costs. Like we talked about minimizing costs, but you figured that out on your own. What did you do to minimize costs on your business?
So there's 3 or 4 ways. One, I don't have employees. So everyone that works for me is independent contractors. So we draw up a contract. They can be a chess instructor for as long as they want.
Say that again for the people in the back.
No employees. So independent contractors work best. And I think it creates a better employee or dynamic relationship with the people you work with, because it's more like you're working together. I feel like with employees, maybe you can explain this a little better. There's more of a control. Like you have more control over an employee, whether it's benefits or it's an extra expense. Like I know I live in Nevada. I know that I have to pay more fees to the state of Nevada if I want to have the ability to employ people. So I eliminated the expense of employees and I just pay them independent contractor. That's one. Second one is rent. You have to find a way to
before you move on from independent contractors versus employees. Yep. You have also eliminated the risk of having to pay unemployment claims.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah. That's a good one.
Carry on. Rent.
How do I say? Okay, so the second one is rent. You have to find a way to account for your overhead, like what Sufjan's talking about, your electricity and stuff. With me, I'm lucky with chess where I can move on the go. So these mobile businesses seem to be the way for 2022 and going forward, working remotely, being able to go anywhere you want in the world. Like, for example, you guys have seen Kathy N. She's an ape in the chat. She lives in the UK, but yet I'm teaching her chess. We're playing together, and you can give your knowledge anywhere in the world. That's where business is moving. You want to be able to provide service to anyone and anywhere at any time, regardless. Like I have students that are Chinese and they don't speak English, but I can still provide them service. So my advice is think of something that you can provide for everyone. And that's a good place to start. And it's not easy.
I have these goofball douchebag haters that like Tony Denaro works out of his house. No shit, dumbasses. I've talked about it 1,000 times. That was by design, you fucktards, because exactly what Steven just said, you want to eliminate, if at all possible, rent, utilities, commercial property insurance from your fucking income statement.
Yep.
Those are costs that you can figure out a way to avoid. Now, if you're running a gym or a restaurant, you're not going to be able to avoid those. I get it. But if you have a dream to build a business and you can figure out a way to run it out of your house, like I do, you're fucking genius.
Yeah, or find a way to do temporary rent. So like, for example, I teach at elementary school, so I may need to borrow their room for 10 weeks for like an hour a day. So I'll pay them like a flat rate and I'll use their room. I'll use their stuff. So I'm not paying like a residential commercial building. So you can rent out spaces in a library, rent out spaces in a school. There's places for rent, but there's no like consistent obligation. You know what I'm saying?
You're not locked into a 5-year lease is what you're saying.
Yes, that's it.
Do you know how hard it is to get out of a 5-year lease if things don't work out?
Yeah, that's tough.
It's impossible. It's impossible, and they're going to come after you.
That's called Chapter 7 right away.
Chapter 7.
Not always, but it's still a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
No, but Steven, it's very inspiring. You have a great business, what I've heard, and like you said, transmitting a value, limitless value, right, around the world, right? That's quite promising. That's quite promising, Steven.
The other thing I've talked to Steven about, and I don't know if he's quite on board yet, but one day he will be, is figure out how to premium price your product.
Yeah.
Figure out a way to differentiate your service or your product and you want to become the Louis Vuitton of whatever industry you're in. Don't be scared the biggest mistake that I see people make over and over is underpricing their product or their service. And maybe because of competition, I get it. I've been in highly competitive industries and I fucking go for the throat on pricing. And if maybe my pricing is 2 or 3x the competitors, but even if I work 2 or 3x less than them, I'm making the same money.
No, that's smart.
Would you
You know what I'm saying?
would you say Steven should seek into a oligopoly or monopoly?
No, I've been suggesting to Steven to seek out if he's targeting schools to teach chess, to target the private schools.
Yeah.
The ones with ridiculous amounts of money where
Yeah,
nothing
that's right.
matters. They will fucking pay whatever you ask.
Yep. The technical ones are the ones that have the money, like the engineering and the math, and they appreciate it, you know, because public schools unfortunately tend to be underfunded. And I'm speaking for Nevada, of course. But yeah, it's always the technical schools that want more programs after school.
For real estate agents, I know there's a few watching right now. Jack, I saw you in chat earlier. A couple of other of you. You guys know what I'm saying, right? You can work your fingers to the bone selling the $200,000 houses, or you can sell the $2 million houses and only sell a few of those per year and make the same amount of money. You always try and move yourself to the luxury client.
Right.
You will thank, you know, today's
time.
what is
Yeah,
it? Tomorrow's
time,
news. Tomorrow's news today. You'll thank me later.
Yeah. That's smart.
But there's different kind of system where you can really succeed in businesses. You know, like those different, like there's the monopoly, there's the like just being like a very average price, but still be in the a leader average, right? Right. What would you think about that? Like being a leader of average. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want to be in the average category.
Yeah.
But a leader in average.
I don't want to be in the average category, period. Well, I'll let someone else be the leader in the average. I'll be the leader in the top tier category.
So you would always want to try to premium on your services. Seek the premium.
It's a very hard thing to internalize. You will doubt yourself if you're not already walking with those people. You don't understand how they think. Money is nothing to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get out of your bubble. Take a fucking chance.
I think, Tony, another piece of advice, I don't know if it's applicable to other businesses, but what saved me a lot of money too is whenever I go to schools and I do group lesson, I set up 20 chess boards, right? And I've only paid for those chess boards and pieces one time. I don't have to keep buying chess pieces and boards. So it's like a product that I can get infinite usage about over and over again. And I don't know if other businesses could do that, but if you could buy a product once and reuse it and generate revenue from it over and over again, I think that's a great way to make money too.
The other thing I'll just add, you know, if you're differentiating yourself into the premium category, you need to also deliver, right? You can't deliver half-ass. These people will pay anything, but they also have high expectations, and you better understand and exceed those expectations, and they will willingly pay you whatever. Is a Louis Vuitton purse worth $2,000, $5,000 when you could buy one at Walmart for $30? But they kill it. They kill it on customer service.
Right.
Same with going to Neiman Marcus. I don't shop at Neiman Marcus, often. Maybe like a Christmas present to myself. But when I go in there, it's like the best service. They've got a men's dressing room that's probably bigger than half my house with free alcohol. It's just over the top delivery. That's what you need to be thinking, like those people think when you're charging those prices. Don't half-ass it.
Right. Yeah, you get what you pay for, essentially. But yeah, Tony, I really appreciated that. It's always good to talk to people about these kinds of topics, because it's really hard to come by, you know. Support your local small businesses, guys. It's really important.
Support your friends' small businesses, but don't ask them for a discount because they're sweating it out like everybody else. Trust me.
Yeah. Right.
Man, I in various businesses I've had, oh, we need your service. Da, 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 da. You know, can you give us a discount? No, sorry. I
The
can't.
homie discount.
Family only. Family, give your family a discount. Give it to them free. Fuck it.
Yeah.
That's family. That's family. But friends should support you because they love you. You don't need to discount for your friends unless you're just like way nicer than I am. I'm a dickhead.
Sufjan, would you start your own business or no? You like what you do?
Yeah, eventually, I think I would consider it for sure and seek the same business model as you guys. I think the big thing is actually provide a really good value, so you have a good standard, right? Because you could set up your prices higher, but also having a great business model and where direction you want to go within 2 years, 5 years, 6 years, have a plan B, plan C, and really adapt into the market conditions. I think those are the biggest thing I would go into consideration. Nonetheless, you know, having that financial background, right? The financial statement, but yeah.
Open up a movie theater? And that's the worst possible business idea.
I do not recommend anybody opening up anything that involves rent, utilities, employees, or insurance. If you can figure out a way to avoid that nonsense, movie theaters, restaurants, retail shopping, oh man, just fucking avoid it.
The biggest thing is to give it a very intellectual service. That's the best, I think. Like, you create a patent. I think that's the ultimate thing. Create a patent or a copyright where you can get passive income without even like forcing. You do it once and you get it for life. Or, I mean, the second category, I would say, like, you know, give an intellectual service, let's say CPA services or consulting services or chess lessons, or, you know, you have to force mentally, but now you don't have to pay rent. You can have it at home, or let's say it's Steven going in schools. But the hard stuff are the restaurants, the bars,
That's rough.
the car wash, the hotels. These are hard businesses to be in these days, and they were proven to have a big downfall during COVID. Right, COVID really showed which businesses could be a big risk.
Right.
Say real estate too, right? Those rent real estate too.
Ladies, Yuka Frita has what is actually a pretty good idea. Sell your used underwear. I mean, I know that sounds disgusting, but it's low risk, high reward.
It's a good business.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. Carl said,
Tony, what do you think about having a farm?
A farm? Horrible. Horrible.
Why?
Because you're dependent on rain and the price of diesel and the price of, inflation. No, not for me. I mean, I guess if you have government subsidies, I'm not a farmer. I joke about having animals. Yes, we have animals, but I'm not actually a farmer. From what I've seen, it's a very tough business. Carl says online only. Feel free to jump in if you're a farmer. If you're making mint, we need you in the Discord to educate us. Carl says online only. I've said 1,000 times in the past year and a half. I've figured out how to take my businesses online only, home based.
Wow.
And yes, one of my businesses, I learned myself during COVID how to do AutoCAD and design a product and wrote up plans to build that product. And Scarlett hated me for the months and months and months that took. But now I sell that product online every day with no work involved for $95 a pop. Online is, if you can figure out a way to monetize your passion, whether it's music, art, creating something, and do it online, Carl, I love it. Beautiful. If you can make money while you're sleeping, because the cash register is just ringing no matter what time of day it is. Beautiful. And yes, ladies,
One thing that
ladies,
could be great
that,
also is a
ladies, that includes selling your underwear online. Just saying. Just saying. The big market.
Tony, what about having a portfolio of somebody else, like being a wealth management advisor?
Are you asking for yourself, Sufjan? I mean, I've thought about it. I've thought about getting my CFA and doing that for people, but I don't know that I want the ramifications of having people yell at me in a bear market. It's bad enough having people yell at me on YouTube, but imagine if I was investing their money for pay. I don't know if I want that. I don't know. I want that responsibility. That's just me. What do you think? You're in the industry.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I think it's rent free. It crosses all the boxes for your business model, but it's just the stress, right?
You're gonna have people. You're gonna have rich people calling you up every day saying, "Why is my portfolio down 10% today? What the fuck did you recommend to me?" Sir, same thing I say on YouTube. It's a bear market. You're just gonna need to wait it out. I don't want to deal with that. It's bad enough dealing with it on YouTube.
You know what I would tell them? I would tell them, please, all right, we're in a bear market. For more explanation, for more clarification, please watch the video. And
yes, I was about to say that. Saint, for your due diligence, I need you to watch the movie The Big Short and how many times he apologized, and then that big check he wrote when he was right.
Wow, that's funny.
Exactly, Tony. So I think it's a great business model, but you gotta be ready for that bear market because they come, right?
My battery died. I got to charge it. I was prepared for this.
Got a haircut, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
I did get a haircut. Yeah.
Nice. Steven, yeah.
I mean, I think you covered all the bases. You have to have a real passion for finance to go that far, CFA. But I mean, even you, CPA, like that's incredible amount of dedication. You know, I couldn't.
Steven, can you move to your left a little bit? You're a little too close to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Left.
No, the other way. There you go.
My bad.
It was looking a little awkward on camera. Thank you for calling it out in the comments.
Sorry.
But I think being a financial advisor could be, like it could be some fun sides. It could be a fun side when it's a bull market.
Yeah.
Being a financial advisor.
Hey, Sufjan, it's the same thought that I had when I was like, I'd like to be a fitness trainer to people in my age bracket or older. And then I realized how unrealistic people are in losing weight and getting in shape. I was like, why? Whether it's fitness training or financial training, I don't want to deal with people. They have unrealistic expectations and they don't hold themselves accountable.
Yeah. So you rather
I'm just happier doing my little day trades on YouTube and chatting with you guys and having fun. And if somebody learned something, great. And if you hate me, just fucking unsub because I don't give a shit. I'm not here. I'm not here for you. I'm not here for the people that don't like me. I'm here for the people who want to learn.
Right.
You rather just
say what you're doing and just teach lessons
Yeah.
and give your knowledge to people, your finance
It's
knowledge, not
empowering. It's
financial
really
advice.
empowering. It's empowering to not give a shit. And if
Yeah,
if people
especially
were,
with a lot of bullshit on Twitter.
if people were paying me for, managing their portfolio or helping them lose weight, I would have to give a shit. Right now, it's just block and move on. Don't care.
Mm-hmm. But we're also in a bear market. Let's say we're in a bull market tomorrow.
Bull market, things are
way
going to
more-
be lit. It's going to be lit. When we get to that
Things gonna be
day,
lit.
when we get to that day, everybody's going to be, everything will be forgiven. Everybody will be a hero. There will be no bad
Yeah.
picks.
People are gonna be, oh, Tony Denaro is such a master. He's a guru in finance. People turns on the switch, of course.
When
People
when
turn
you
on the
learn
switch.
who is real, you learn who survived a bear market. If you guys survive this bear
Yeah.
market, if you survive this bear market through cautious plays and rational decision making, you're going to be a hero to yourself in a couple of years. It's not me. I'm just like helping you manage your emotions through it because I've been through it many times. It's always debilitating. It's crushing. It's emotionally draining. But, after you live through a couple of those, you get used to it. And it doesn't hurt that I'm emotionally dead inside. I hope to teach you that.
The bear market.
I can't wait. I can't wait you ripping your shirt when we get into a bull market. And you're like,
That Hulk Hogan that Hulk Hogan shirt is on the top of all of my t-shirts every day. I look at it. Is today the day I get to rip my shirt off?
Oh man. That's the day. That's the day.
We're waiting for that day. Everybody's waiting
Yeah.
well, not all of y'all are waiting for that day.
Man.
It'll be
We're all
fun when
waiting
that
for
day
that.
happens.
oh hell yeah!
The bear market.
You'll be called the #1 short squeeze specialist, I think, after that day.
Well, it was nice chatting with you guys. I'm gonna get something to eat.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm going to take Candace's question. Stephen, I do appreciate you being a member of the channel, a longtime member of the channel and the Discord. You're a smart guy. Go check out his YouTube channel, Just Another Ape. He is a expert in the movie industry, far more than me, and the sports gambling. And if you meet his very strict criteria, you might get an invite to his Discord, which is free.
Strict criteria.
I mean, he does screen. It's not open to the public. There's not even I don't even think there's a join button.
Nope.
But first follow him on YouTube.
Yeah.
And get to know him. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. You too, Sufjan.
I'm going to take Candace's question. I haven't read it, but I saw Candace had a question. Hang on one second. Thank you, Stephen. Have a good night. Appreciate your time tonight.
You too. We'll talk Avatar very soon.
I hope so.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Let's see what Candace had to say. Hearing the plans with Cosmos has, if you had got in at 16 cents, would you hold for a run up or would you sell and rebuy later? Good question, Candace. I'm gonna recap for you guys really quickly what I have done with Cosmos, just so you know where I'm at. This is not buy, sell, or hold advice. I'm just going to tell you what I've done. Past 2 months, I've been watching it every day, digging into the due diligence, watching all the clickbait, not buying Cosmos. And I want to see you guys make money. There's no sense in me talking about it. As long as it's running, make that fucking money. But then we crossed a bridge where I've known since mid to late November that the numbers you were being given on short interest were incorrect, because I asked S3 what they were using for the free float, and they told me they were using less than 1 million shares to calculate that ridiculous short interest percentage. And then I still see people in mid-December making videos saying it's going to $1,000, 2,000% short interest. That was a fucking lie. And no one except me, as far as I know, bothered to understand where those numbers were coming from. And the short interest percentage is irrelevant in a momentum play as long as people are buying it. But at the point where they're telling you it's going to $1,000 because they don't know how to do DD, you know who I'm talking about? My friend up there does not know how to do DD, never fucking worked on Wall Street, is a fucking clickbaiter, 20 videos a day with the same nonsense, all bullshit. Love you. Anyways, that was a lie. Maybe he was doing it intentionally, maybe just out of ignorance. I had to finally step in and say, look, guys, momentum is momentum. Make the money, but for your goals of when to get out, you got to understand the real facts. And it's not 2,000%. Maybe it's 13, maybe it's 15, maybe it's 30, maybe it's 35. I don't know. None of us know, because the short interest official data only comes in every 2 weeks. But what we do know is that the float increased recently from 25 million to 150 million free float. So whatever number they were using, 0.92 million free float, was fucking wrong. And these guys, Will Mead, yes, I'm calling you out. iHorror, whatever the fuck your last name is from S3, you're a douchebag, because none of y'all have come on Twitter to tell the truth since November 25th or so. I don't know what your game is, why you think you need to rope-a-dope retail, but you guys are unethical. And everyone was following their charts. It was all lies. Intentional or unintentional, I don't know. It was incorrect. And I'm sorry I had to be the douchebag that tells you the truth. But I did not jump in to Cosmos until Monday this week, because I still thought, despite all of that retail believed in the play so much that it might still have momentum up to $1. And I think that the company, after talking to Frank, and I believe in Frank, I know some of y'all don't, that's fine. You know, I'm a pretty brutal judge of character. And I'm a pretty brutal, what's the right way to say this? I'm pretty good at understanding if someone knows what they're talking about or not. Frank, I think, is legit as far as his connections with the company. I bought in Monday, hoping the momentum would continue. It did not continue. And I said in the Discord on Monday, and then on the next live stream that I did, that I got out of Cosmos on Monday afternoon, right before the market closed. And then it dropped from 50 something cents to, what are we at right now? It dropped to low 30s or maybe lower. All right. So I'm glad that I got out. I have never given you guys a price target on Cosmos. I've never said buy it, never said hold it. Today, I know, you know, kind of the risks and the dilemmas they're facing. They've got the late January $1 delisting thing. They've got the more pressing 10 cents, under 10 cents delisting thing. And they've been over 10 cents for a while. The first hurdle they got to get over is getting this 10-cent delisting thing wiped off the table. If that's wiped off the table, that could be good news for Cosmos. What happens between now and then, I don't fucking know. Nobody knows. That's up to NASDAQ. That's not up to Cosmos. That's not up to any YouTuber. They got to get over this hurdle of the 10-cent delisting dilemma, and I think that will be resolved. What time frame? I don't know. I saw 1,000. No, I saw a dozen different YouTube channels with thumbnails saying news on Friday, and I'm sure they were thinking it was probably going to be that the 10-cent delisting thing was off the table. That'll be off the table soon enough. They're over 10 cents. NASDAQ will give them a pass on that. We did get the news drop today about the firm that they hired to dig into the naked shorts and the manipulation. That was good news. That's why I said the day before, guys, they went dark because they can't say anything. Give them a chance and be patient. And we got a little pop today. I think there's more good news coming. What do you do? I don't know. This is not a channel where I tell you what to do. If you're in at 16 cents, you're still up. Follow the chart is what I would say. Hey, ladies. Hey, Scarlett. Shh. Be quiet. God damn. Follow the chart. Make your own best decisions following the chart. Okay. But I think there's more good news coming. I do think that this company is doing the best they can. And I don't think that they want to reverse split at the end of January unless they absolutely have to. I think they truly, and I don't say this often. I think they truly want to get above $1 organically. I have no idea if they will or not. That's up to the news they drop and you guys as investors. So I bought some more today when the market opened, and I'm still holding. I'm slightly in the green from what I bought at this morning. I'm going to give them a chance. If it starts falling, if the chart starts going down, you already know what I'm going to do. This is not a pipe dream for me. I follow the charts. But I still believe in the company. I still believe there's more good news coming. And if it drops and it hits a point of support, I would consider buying back in. That's all I can say, guys. I'm being as transparent as I can. I have no idea what's going to happen. I think there's more good news coming. Are the shorts targeting it? Absolutely. Are they doing what they can? Absolutely. Do I know what's going to happen next? Hell no. And anyone that tells you a price target or they know what's happening next, clickbait. Clickbait. Ladies, you're still being too loud. That's what happens when they start drinking. So I'm still in Cosmos. Bought it this morning. Bought back. Expecting good news today. We got good news. I have high hopes. I have no promises for you. I'll just keep on sharing facts as they come in, being as transparent as I can. Yuka says, what are they doing? They're pouring themselves another drink, Yuka. It's Friday night in the Denaro house. What can I say? All right, they're back in the bedroom now. Whoops. All right, time to end the live stream. Just kidding. We got a little bit more time. What other questions you got? Take a couple more questions before we got to call in a night. 11:47. We are working on 3 hours. I'll do 13 more minutes with you guys. When are we having bingo again, Carl? I have not heard from Alex. I messaged her on Wednesday. I'm going to text her right again. I'm going to text her again right now. Hello, Alex. All right. She's being officially called out right now. We need a weekend bingo with Alex and Scarlett, I think. Where is the pimp hat with the feather? Are we talking about the white hat or the gray one? What's going to run next, Clark? I'm going to spend this weekend figuring out what is going to run next, and I'll post that in the Discord. Again, everything, right? Take it with a grain of salt. What is going to run next is going to be what is people pumping. My job is not to pump the next thing. My job is to identify what they are pumping, identify it, get in early, and get out early. Someone asked if they could see the Ortex for Cosmos. What is the short interest? I'm going to put that up real quick. I wish I would have done this earlier. I'm going to put this screen share up for you guys. Sufyan, are you still here? Or did you? I guess Sufyan left too. Ortex. I want to point out a couple things because people get really mad when I said the short interest on Cosmos was 13%. Look, that is based already on fake data, old data. The data we're working on, short interest, is from November 14th. It's already outdated. I don't know what the short interest is. I just know it's not 2,000%. Ortex tells us here that the free float is 56 million. Wait, sorry. I shared the wrong screen. Hang on. Shared the wrong screen. This one. Ortex tells us that the free float is 56 million. That is bullshit. Ortex already, the data is suspect. The free float is at least 150 million shares. Based on Frank, based on the COO, based on the latest S1 filing, the free float is around 150 million shares. All right. Then we go to the live short interest. I already cannot trust this data because they're using the wrong free float, but they do get data from the lenders, not from the shorts. It's self-reported, not from the shorts, from the lenders. So I give it a little more believability factor. But based on a free float of 50,000, they are saying that the short interest is 13%. Draw your own conclusions. Is it 13%, or do we need to divide that by 3 because they are using the wrong free float? I'm not going to tell you. I don't know. Everything's fucked in this play until Cosmos updates all of the exchanges and all the data providers with the correct free float. Don't believe any of the data. Just know that it's not 2,000%. Old Doge, thank you. Gus asking, do I think AMC will drop below 5? God, Gus, I hope not. We got Avatar right around the corner. I think they're going to pressure it as much as they can until the 15th, 16th, whenever that movie drops. We got Jerry Powell to worry about next week. That bad news in the market could weigh on everything. I have no idea, Gus. It's possible. I sure hope not. Does AMM still have juice? Let me pull up AMM. I watched AMM today. I watched it. I almost bought it. You're not going to believe this. Oh, no, wait. That was a different play. There was another play that I was about to hit the order button, the buy button at 45 cents. And I have multiple brokers. The one that I was about to hit the buy button on, when I hit the buy button, it said, you don't have enough cleared cash. I had cash in the account, but it wasn't cleared. So then I quickly went to my other broker, logged in, went to go hit it. And I looked up, and in that 1 minute, it ran from 45 cents to 75 cents. And I literally wanted to slit my throat. AMM still looks good. Yeah. I mean, that was a hell of a day. We'll have to keep an eye on it in Monday in pre-market. Beautiful chart. Let me put it up here for you. What happens next? I don't know. Look at that. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on Monday, and I will be. I will be. What can I make a prediction on what's going to happen Monday in pre-market? No, probably wants to go down, but I hope it goes up. And if it goes up, I'll be trading it. Stephen, thank you for joining in. Just Another Ape is his screen name there. Go check him out on YouTube. If you're not subbed to him, give him some love. He's a good dude. Good trader, good head on his shoulders. No fucking clickbait off of that channel. I wish I could remember. Maybe let me see if I have that other ticker saved in one of my screens here. I think I have it down on this monitor. Let me see. Let's see if I have it over here. You know, I think it was HTGM. Let's look at the chart on HTGM. I live streamed this morning, and then I had to go help a friend at 9, and then I didn't get back here till 11, and then I was hot day trading some stuff and watching different plays. Yes, this was it. Right here, I was watching this one. I was watching this one right about here at 1 o'clock. It had been simmering. And the volume was kind of growing right here into these couple minutes. I was like, buy. This is the time to buy. Volume's growing. Wait, you can't. You're looking. You have the wrong screen, don't you? Fuck. This one. This monitor. All right, there we go. Right about here, the volume was starting to grow. The candles were slowly starting to grow after the noon hour. Right about here where this red and green candle are, I put in my order at 45 cents-ish. And my broker said, not enough cleared cash. I was like, shit. And I have two-factor authentication, so there's a bit of a delay. I had to log into another broker, get a text on my phone, log in, set up the trade. Before I could do anything, 75 cents. I missed. That was my fault. Bad mistake. And then it never recovered. HTGM was the play. Story of my life. Sometimes you miss some, but yeah, it ran up and then came right back down. Let me know if y'all made money on that one. That was a beautiful setup. Took a lot of patience to watch that one and call it right. But I fucked up. Wasn't paying attention to what account I was in. Oh well. We'll catch the next one. DevStat says Hester Pierce got her feathers ruffled on Twitter. She responded to all the hate. I mean, she's been getting the hate for steady on a year, DevStat. I need to check that out. I don't know. I mean, she's got thick skin if she's survived up till now without responding. Maybe she never checked her Twitter. She's been eviscerated. Other questions? Other questions? What are your MMTLP brackets? I hope y'all could hear that. I hope y'all could hear the sound effects. Can y'all hear that when I do the screen share? Restream is a bastard about sharing sound effects. Six Sun says, I added more Highcroft calls for 2050. I know from looking today that the latest you can add is January 2025. I looked at adding more today and I hesitated. I'm going to wait and see what they look like on Monday, Six Sun. Today, depending on when I looked, I have January 2025 calls on Highcroft. At one point today, I was up 15% and then I was flat. It was kind of bouncing around. I don't want to add more of what I already have. I want to, if I add more, I want it to be lower on the stock, lower on the options. I fucking hope Highcroft doesn't go lower, of course, because I'm not bearish on a Highcroft. But if it goes lower, I'll add some more. Wind Moon, Justin says. 2 weeks, Justin. Jewel today. Yeah, let's look at Jewel. I was not live. I was helping a friend out. But I did check the chart, and man, it was a wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Right? Mama always said IPOs are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. I always buy these pre-IPO if I can, get them at $4 or $5, and I will sell them on the run up. If I got in at $4 and could sell at 11 or 10, I will take that all day long. Look, guys, if you can buy something for $4 or $5 and sell it 2 minutes after it opens for $10, come on, fucking do it. At least sell most of it. I've done that over and over. We've never lost on this channel on a pre-IPO play. How many have I bought after? How many have I not pre-bought and tried to buy after they launch? A couple. How many have I lost on? Every single one. I don't do that shit anymore. You're not going to see me covering an IPO, watching it run to 11 and telling you to buy. I'm going to be telling you to sell. Are we going to miss maybe some spectacular gains on 1 or 2 plays that run to $1,000? 1 out of 100, probably. Yeah. But if I bought for 4 or 5 and could sell at 10 or 11, I'd be doing that every single fucking time, and I have. So congrats if you made money on Jewel today. I'll be streaming Raya. I did pre-buy Raya, and that one is scheduled to launch on I'm in at $4. You can see it here, right? Yeah, I got the screen share on. I'm in at $4 and it's scheduled to list on the 13th. So unless that gets pushed again, I'll be streaming that with y'all. And I hope I can sell it for 8 or 10. That's a dinner out. It's a new purse for Scarlett, whatever. I don't put $10,000 on these plays. This is just fun money. It's extra returns for the portfolio. Nobody fucking knows what's going to happen on an IPO. Hang on, I got a text back. Is it Alex? It is Alex. Alex says she's working. What? No excuse. No excuse, Alex. I'm going to tell her the weekend's coming up. All right, weekend. Weekend is coming up. Come over. All right, we'll see if we can get her in this weekend. All right. I will let y'all know if we can get Alex and Scarlett together for a 3-way bingo. Jeffrey says, did y'all check out the lunar? Jeffrey, that's a big word. Oculation on Wednesday. What the fuck is an oculation? Jeffrey, I pride myself on knowledge of the English language, but I don't know if I've ever heard the word oculation before. Mars went behind the moon and turned reddish. Ralphie says, been hearing T plus 90 for AMC. Will this help? I cannot get behind T plus 90 narrative, Ralphie. You check back on my Twitter 2 months ago. I debunked it. Just my opinion. One stupid white guy's opinion. But I do back it up with due diligence and screenshots of regulations. And I'm happy to entertain anybody on YouTube that wants to come talk about it. So far, they just scatter. I don't want to debate. I don't want to argue. I'm not against anybody. But I think that the T plus 90 narrative is based on a misread of the regulations. I wish it were so. I wish I could give you good news. I have zero expectations about any T plus 90 narrative. I honestly wish I could tell you something different. One of these fucking times somebody gives you a date. I want to come on here and make a million videos about this is the date. They never fucking pan out. Then all the DD is usually bad. But it gets views. It gets views. They get far more views than I get because it's hopium. And I respect them keeping people in the play. But I want you to be in the play because you believe in the company, not because you believe in a date. And that's what I'm here for. Jeffrey, rest assured, I will Google oculation. I'm a word nerd, Jeffrey. Funny little aside story. I took 4 years of Latin and 3 years of Greek, and I'm a etymology nerd. There's not many words that I haven't heard of in the English language, even if I have a couple shots and I mispronounce one every now and then. But that is one I'm not familiar with. So kudos to you for using the big words. I love it. I want you guys to stump me with words. Oculation. Oculation, not ejaculation. I took 4 years of Latin, 3 years of Greek, 5 years of Spanish, and a couple years of Russian. And I self-taught myself to understand Chinese. I can't write Chinese. I can barely fucking speak it. But when I was over there in Taiwan and China, I got so mad at them lying to us. Can you imagine being in a conference room and you know something's not right and you ask the salesperson, well, what the fuck is going on with the schedule? And then the engineers are like, and they all start yelling at each other in Chinese, and you know something is up. And then the salesperson turns to you, oh yeah, it'll be delivered on schedule, no problem. Well, that's not based on the emotions, that's not what I just heard. I was like, fuck you guys, I'm going to teach myself Chinese. I ain't no fucking amateur. So I was over there for years in China and Taiwan. I started learning. I met a couple girls that might have helped a little bit. I started learning Chinese. And one day I unveiled it in a meeting. I was like, that's not what the engineers just said. The salespeople are like, oh, you speak Chinese? Yes, motherfuckers, I understand what you're talking about. The whole dynamic changed after that, let me tell you. Chinese is actually a pretty easy language to learn if you're a linguist. If you're a cunning linguist, Chinese is actually not that hard to learn. Writing it, speaking it, totally different animal. I got in a taxi one time, tried to tell the dude the factory address where I needed to go in Chinese. Totally got lost. He took me out to Timbuktu, China. Finally, I handed him a business card with the address. Oh, okay. How? We finally got there, and I relayed my experience to them about getting lost. They said, "What did you tell them, Tony, for the address?" And I told them in Chinese. Oh, no. You ask him for a piece of paper. You asked him for a piece of paper. Apparently, accent matters in Chinese. Same word has 5 different accents, different meanings for each accent. Love you a long time, all you need to know. Alex says she works Thursday and weekends, can't 5:30 to 3 a.m. Where are you? What is she doing now? Is she a waitress? I don't know where Alex works. All right, guys, it's 12 minutes past where I said we were going to call it a night. I'll see what I can do about getting Alex on sometime soon. Thank you for hanging out. Love you guys a long time. I love you a long time. Great questions, great conversation tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the topics and the guests that we had on. And we'll do another one maybe Sunday night. I'm going to probably take the day off tomorrow, do a little bit of research, take a day off from YouTube. I'm long on Highcroft. I love Highcroft, long time. Still holding AMC. I do own Cosmos at the moment. And feel free to reach out to me in the comments down below if you're watching this on replay. I'm always available on Twitter. I don't check it that often, but you can DM me. Follow me on Twitter or in the community tab for updates when I'm not live. I got a Discord too. I'm not going to tell you how to figure it out. I'm not going to tell you how to join. You got to figure that out on your own. And I will see you on the next one.